Welcome back, Nuggets. This mother clucker's got some thoughts. Let's ruffle some feathers and get into this live stream. I'm so sorry for that extended intro. I'll have to update my start time on my description for replay nuggets. Had some technical difficulties. Are we surprised? And I don't know why, but when I streamed, it didn't pick up my scheduled stream. It's picked up a new stream. So yeah, anyway, I had to quickly go delete everything, reset up everything. It's so much fun dealing with technology. Hello, everybody. I am now settled. How is everybody today? Who have we got? I don't know where the old stream stopped and the new one started, but people may be here, they may be not. Thank you so much to Mogwise for joining the Clucking Crew. I saw that on the other stream. I appreciate you. Welcome aboard. Who have we got? We got Darkwick and Furball and Yummy. Thank you so much for coming in and modding tonight. Hello, Layla. Hey, Lee. If I miss anyone, it's because it's been confused with the tech diffs. Hello, Squishy Jelly Frogs. Hello, Sam Bam. Sam Bam Dick Slam. That's a name. I love it. Hello, Tonya. Hello, Nuts by Kaylee. Welcome in. Hello, Tans. Hi. What? Can't be as bad as Charlie, so let's get... I hope you meant started. Oh, dear. Hello, Freud would have a field day with these two. Oh, I have some thoughts. Hello, 1W? Hello, 3 a.m. You're dedicated. Hi, everybody. I think I've caught up. Hello, Mogumi. Hi. Hello, Keto Lisa. Hello from Sweden. Hello from Australia. Sorry, you didn't miss. She said, let's get the stream sharted instead of started. That's hilarious. I haven't watched that yet. That's great. I tell you what, as a live streamer, you really have to be okay with laughing at yourself. Because my goodness. Did I lose my charger? If you know, you know. I'm trying to think. No, I don't know. Oh, I'm so sorry. Hello, Doxy. Hey, Trimmer. Hi, everybody's found their way back. I'm so glad. Technology. Super fun. Okay. All right. Now, I will need to go put Tay-Tay to bed at a certain point, probably about in half an hour or so, but I have some chicken snack crew scheduled for you. Before we get into it, I'm just trying to bide a bit of time before I start talking about what I really want to start talking about, because that's how YouTube works. Okay, so I was chatting with Nikki the other day, and she's like, oh my God, Vera, have you seen that Remy and Roz's dad, also known as Daddy, are pretty much the same person. There are some very creepy similarities that we are going to go into. But anyway, she sent me some photos and then I got weird. With it, and I want to show you this. Okay. Remily on screen. Yes. Watch this. That's her dad. They're the same person. What is this? I mean, you adjust for aging, right? Right? This is next level Freud stuff. I don't know what to do with this. Because, like, yeah, they are really similar. Eye shape, face shape, glasses, facial hair. Apparently she encouraged Remily to grow his hair out. I don't know. Look, there's something here. Something that is above my pay grade. You want to see Remy's mum now? I know, right? I know. Hello, Lucy. Welcome in. Anyway, I needed to show you all my weird, because this is an important part of this channel. Hello, Hillgoth. Welcome in. You entered the stream to Lee Paw. Oh, no. Oh, yeah, it is a bit like that, isn't it? Okay, all right. So enough shenanigans. All right, so I know that we've started off with some giggles. This stream is actually going to be quite heavy. There's going to be quite a bit of triggering content. This is why I was trying to drag it out so I can talk about this past the 5-minute mark. So there are some unusual trigger warnings that are going to pop up in this stream that don't usually pop up in other streams that I do. And I have the spiel, of course, that like these are extremely unique people in unique situations, and when I'm criticizing them, I'm criticizing all of them, right? Not an isolated sentence that can be applied to somebody who's listening where the rest of their life is completely out of context to this. And more than ever in this stream, I really need you to not take things that I apply to Remily and apply them to yourself, because the situation that we're going to be talking about is something that I think is relatively common, and that's going to be like disability and in the OCD space and things like that. But there are like complexities to your life, there's comorbidities, there's situations that I could not possibly know about, that basically I'm going to be talking about my own personal experience, and I'm going to be talking about what I see on the screen in front of me. So I really need you, I'm going to trust you all as grown-ass adults to really monitor your own feelings like that. Please keep that in mind as we move forward. And it's really, really important. It's the culmination of who they are, not their individual diagnosis and afflictions. Exactly right. And it just so happens that Remily has stumbled upon something that I deal with myself. So I actually can speak from a personal experience with this kind of thing. Yes, now the other trigger warning that I want to put out there as well is this conversation, if you've seen it, you know what I'm talking about. If you haven't, there's a lot of discussion around having disabilities and being disabled vets. This is pissing a lot of people off in the way that they've depicted it. So if you are vet yourself, or if you know someone who's struggled with disability from being in service and things like that, just know that that's coming in this stream quite thick and heavy thanks to them. So this stream is actually a continuation of my last stream, and I think there's been a turn of events, and I'm going to lay them out in a timeline for you. I'm going to show you what I see, because I think something very important has happened over the last few days when it comes to Roz and Remily. And I think it's what I'm calling the point of no return. I think the point where he could have just faded away into obscurity and not persevered this, I think that moment has passed now. I think he has made a decision. I think certain things have happened. I think there is some really expert manipulation on Roz's behalf that's happening here, and I'm gonna lay it all out, and I'm gonna show you why I think this is what's happened. So basically what I think is going to happen from here, I think this man on the screen is about to get incredibly stupid and incredibly mouthy and say some things that realistically we can't defend, even if we wanted to. I think that's coming. I also think that they are going to move in together, and I think this man is about to encounter years worth of extreme relationship mistreatment on so many levels. But you know, he's an adult. He's making his choices. I think he's very naive and inexperienced, but we can't stop him now. He needs to go through this himself and learn this the hard way, unfortunately. He will make himself terminally unemployable with his digital footprint after doing a podcast with Roz. Roz already could make that happen. I agree with you. At that age, before even finishing school. Yeah, I know. So, yeah, we're about to get really heavy. Is everybody excited? Oh no. I don't know how much lightness there is going to be during the stream, although something that I think we do really well as a community and something that I really enjoy about this space is I think we have a really good way of being able to balance the incredibly serious and traumatic with also a bit of lightness. And yeah, I think, I don't know, you will all probably surprise me in some way. Yeah. Hey Nikki. Yeah, by the way, this video that we're gonna watch that is the main event is pilfered from Nikki. please go give her channel some support if you haven't done so already. So yeah, thank you so much, Yummy and Darkwick. Yeah, excited is a word for it, sure. Yeah. It's his path, he had red flags. It is. And I do think there's a lot of complexity going on that honestly one stream is probably not sufficient to address it all, because I also do think that there is some layer of fetish going on. I don't think it's like Emily scale, don't get me wrong, but like there's something like that. There's also maybe him wanting to have the attention potentially going on. There's also a whole lot of gaslighting and love bombing going on, in my opinion. And yeah, we're going to get into all of it. Okay, so what we're going to start with is a little bit. I did want to do this stream. This was the poop stream. I've edited it, but there is a part that is really important. So if you remember, they're about to start talking. This is a 7-minute clip from that live stream that is important to go over. So in my last stream, if you remember, I went through the stream that was previous to this where she was treating him really badly on live. She was being dismissive. She was being downright just, like neglectful, really. She was rude, disrespectful, and every other word that you can think of towards him. And I highlighted, by the way, if you haven't seen that live, I do recommend you go watch it. Not right now, but like later. In that I highlighted that I suspected he was starting to notice the mistreatment, and I thought it was starting to grind on him a bit, which would have been a really good moment, because then of course I'm thinking, oh, he's about to see it. He hasn't seen it yet. He hasn't seen this relationship for what it is yet. He's starting to see it. There was hope. And then this poop stream happened, and basically the mistreatment continues, and that's just what I want to log at the moment. So this was like, what, just under a week ago now? So these happened in quite quick succession. Never mind that he was kind of pushed into doing these as well. Hello, Maria. Yeah. What's stronger, the manipulation in the air or the force Roz was using to push out her poos? Oh, that's a tough question. Yeah. So yeah, let's just continue to catalog this mistreatment, because I think that this particular stream was the catalyst for something that has caused this very bad turn. All right, I'm gonna shut up now and let's watch them.
Lee, where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Sorry, just for context, this was right at the end where he was about to leave. So this is the 7 minutes prior. It's largely unedited prior to his leaving. And it started with this question: Lee, where do you see yourself in 5 years? So what I want you to pay attention to is what she's doing with her face, micro movements. Think about what he's seeing from his perspective after he lays out everything that he's about to lay out. What? Darkwick is picking on you? You didn't even call them short or blind. I didn't see anything, Yummy. I don't know what you're talking about. All right, let's go.
You know, that is a question. Yep.
That would be something to meditate on.
Yeah, that is. I don't even know how to answer that question.
You don't have to give a whole answer. You can give a partial answer to what you do see.
Well, I hope to be the best version of myself.
Yeah.
I think that's an exceptional answer. I think that's a really good goal to have. I would argue that the growth never stops, really, but just pay attention to how she's reacting. So he took that question that was directed at him and said, I think quite truthfully, that he wants to be the best version of himself. And yes, she expected married to the love of my life. Yes, I think she did expect something along those lines, right? And she is not happy with this response, and so she pries. It's an especially good answer because she said you don't have to answer it in full. Yeah, no, I think it's a great answer. I think it's an honest answer. And you know, now we find out that he's actually doing a lot of work on himself. He's going to therapy. He's experimenting with meditation. He's getting into hobbies. He's expanding himself. This is a good answer. And by the way, it is a complete answer. I'm just putting that out there.
In 5 years. I hope to...
You'll be 31.
Yeah, I'll be 31.
So her bringing up the age there, I actually wonder if they've had conversations about age milestones previously. And I can't help but feel that she might be trying to prompt a memory here. Otherwise, it's a weird thing to say. I don't know. I could be wrong, but I feel like that Roz saying that is significant to her, if that makes sense. Him working on himself and reflecting is her biggest threat, and she knows it subconsciously. Do you know what? Strawberry flavor. Snowberry flavor, sorry. Sorry about that. I misburied you. It's really funny you should say that because you know, a lot of you know my history. I talk about it a lot. It's a center point of my channel. My experiences, that's what you're here to listen to, right? What I see in these people. But Mr. Chukin, without a doubt, saved me. He got me out from underneath my mother's grasp and manipulation, and he assisted me in my own personal growth. He facilitated all of it, especially in the beginning where I had just barely an ember glowing of a fire that was to come within me, right? And he said to me, I want you to be your whole self and be who you authentically are, even if that means when you get there, you realize that I don't fit anymore. And I'm tearing up a little bit. Oh my gosh. He wanted that for me so much, even if it meant that he wasn't going to get what he wanted. That is the mark, I believe, of a really good partner. And yeah, that matters, right? Yeah, she tries very hard to manipulate his answer. And yeah, she does. She does. And all of this is going to get so important. She's constantly talking about their plans in a year or two. Yeah, I think they're going to move in about a year, is my feeling. I think it'll coincide with his degree finishing. But yeah, yes, that's true love, unselfish love. Yeah. Meanwhile, he's also grown and changed, and it just so happens that we've grown and changed together, but we still like each other. Damn, Mr. Chukin really is the one. I know. I know. Nice pause screen. I didn't do it on purpose, okay? Yes, wanting your happiness over his happiness is love. Yeah. So, you should have said he sees himself married to a 300-pound Rosie. Oh dear. Oh really, Tans? You've just been through exactly what you described, but in the last 2 years, and you can see what you missed in their relationship. Yeah. Yeah. You told your hubby you wanted to join the Canadian armed forces in 3 years, and he was like, how about another kid 18 years later, and your partners are purposely trying to keep you out of the military. I'm so sorry, sugar. Yeah. People can absolutely run their own agendas. I think it's a sign of true love and mutual respect when your own wants are put ahead of what's good for the other person. Sorry, the other way around. Reverse that. When their needs are put ahead of your wants. That's what I meant to say. So let's keep going.
I hope to have grown in the span of those 5 years, like mentally, spiritually, emotionally. Hopefully with a stable job. That's a plan.
So far he's mentioned he wants to be the best personal self he can achieve, and he wants a stable job. These are his priorities. So his own well-being, which is not selfish. That is, like I say, that is a complete answer. And then he wants to see himself succeed in a way that he views success to be, right? She's still not happy.
Living situation can change, as it usually does within 5 years.
But he didn't explicitly say living with her, right? That's an interesting choice of words. Living situation can change. What does that mean?
Ideally, where do you see yourself?
In 5 years?
Ideally.
Living with you.
Yeah.
And that's the answer she wanted. So, yeah, it was prodded, but notice that out of the first 3 things he said, it actually wasn't that first. She was not happy that he didn't say a quaint house in Georgia with a wraparound porch. Yeah. So she plugged back in temporarily for that answer because she got the right answer. But she had to kind of prompt it.
Yeah. Me too. I was thinking location was. That was really sweet of you to say. By the way, I was like if you were to have those 5 years to like.
I don't believe that at all. I think she realized how that looked and changed the story.
I mean, obviously, now that with what you said, like for us to be together, but ideally, we would have 5 years to build our long-term plan and be in a location where we would ideally want to be. What would that location roughly, like state-wise, look like for you?
I want to live somewhere along the East Coast. Maybe Virginia, maybe South Carolina or North Carolina. Just around that general area. I want to be by the ocean. That's like my dream.
This next bit is really important. So, especially knowing what we're going to find out in the next bit of stream that we're going to look at. Lee has been diagnosed with OCD. Now, part of his particular OCD, and we're going to talk about it in depth, but part of his particular version of OCD is that he is going to be reading every single little micro expression. And I feel like that actually tracks with what we've seen in the past, because we've seen him sense very tiny shifts and then try to de-escalate something that he saw coming, right? The fact that he's able to pick up on these tiny things. And hello, Cramblings, welcome in. Thank you so much for coming in. You're just cooking dinner? No problem. Well, thank you for modding tonight. I appreciate that. What was I saying? Cramblings distracted me. Yeah, and I think that's a really important thing, because he's able to detect those patterns and seek to try and curb the behavior that he doesn't want coming, right? The first one that I saw as evidence of this happening, I am the drama. The first time I saw this happening was the last Texas vlog when they were doing their nails. He detected something and started trying to diffuse it. The only reason I picked up on it was because I picked up on his diffusing language. He is picking up on signs so subtle that I don't think we can see them, or at least I can't see them. And this is kind of what I do, right? I sit here and I dial into behavioral patterns. He's picking up on things that I still haven't been able to see yet. And I think that's really telling. So he's now reading after he said, I want to be on the East Coast, I want to be near the ocean. He's now intently watching her face on the screen. Look at this.
So, yeah. You okay, baby?
I'm just reading the chat, sorry.
The fact that he just laid out all of his hopes and dreams for the next 5 years, and then she gives zero response, and he has to say, "Are you okay, baby?" That is a massive red flag. And this is about to become so important for the next stream that we're going to look at. Yeah, the rocking. Ugh. And then in the next stream, Roz is like clicking something. It's infuriating. I cannot edit these things out. You're literally about to bring up your OCD and how the brain bugs are winning. Yeah. Yes, I'm well versed in OCD. It's actually one of the only mental health conditions that I've been diagnosed with, and only because I got diagnosed as a teenager. Exactly. Hello, Quantum Fish Sticks. Welcome in. He's picking up on her tiny micro expressions and the 300 layers of context experience with her, and the ugliness that definitely happens with the camera off. You've been him. He must be exhausted. I feel you so hard right now. I get what you just said. And this is why I have been saying I'm pretty sure he's got OCD, only because it actually manifests very similarly to mine. OCD is not always like the repeated tapping on things or the the counting and the typical ways that OCD is shown on media. It can be like this. So yeah. And the rumination. Oh, hello, Massing Out, welcome in. You mean you all don't read everyone's expressions intently and obsessively? Oh, Joel. No. Normie people? No. But I'm with you, I am. But see, I've managed to turn my version of it into a superpower for the channel, though, because I've had people say to me, how do you dial into these people so quickly? Well, this is how. It's just, it's an OCD thing. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I mean, ideally I would love to live somewhere like Portland or Oregon, but unfortunately, I would never feel safe living in those locations.
So I'm reading that he was frustrated there. So for all of my non-US nuggets, because this didn't make a whole lot of sense to me either. What did she say? Oregon is on the West Coast. So he just laid out his entire hopes and dreams life plan for the East Coast. Portland. You love Portland or Oregon? Yeah. Portland is the capital city, isn't it, of Oregon? Yeah, so then she overrides what is potentially quite a vulnerable moment for this man, because bear in mind, he's not used to bearing himself on the internet. This is not a usual thing that he's done up to this point. She takes that and then not only flips the coast, but uses it as an opportunity to take a dig at some trolls. Because she's like, well, I would love to live in Oregon, but, my life would be in danger there. That's what she did with him laying out his hopes and dreams. She had to spin it into a victim moment. Exactly, Layla. Yeah. Always wants what she can't have. Yeah. Yeah, she's referencing one of her quote haters. I don't know. Portland is about an hour from the West Coast. It's the largest city, but not the capital. Salem is. Oh, interesting. But yeah, we aren't technically on the coast, just nearish and have rivers. Yeah, interesting. I had to look at a map because I thought Oregon was like, I think where Louisiana actually is. Anyway, it was significant. When I looked at the map, I was like, oh. Yeah, no wonder he's getting upset. This is escalating, by the way. I'll keep letting it play.
And some people know why. Let me see.
Oh, that thing that he just did with his fingernails, I do that constantly. So what I think he's doing there is actually trying to deal with a little bit of a stressful moment. And he's paying attention to something that just brought him joy, which was doing his nails, and he's using it as a little escape moment. And when you're pushing your like fingernails together like that in succession, it gives you something to focus on. So it's almost like a mini meditation in the moment, in a sense. She got all she needed in that, oh, you want to move it here with me, so she has no reason to look up or think of his response. You're right. Also, hello, just Winsome. Yeah, grooming. Yeah, he's he it's like self withdrawing into the self kind of behavior, if that makes sense. And I don't know what he's doing when he does it, but just for those of you who want an insight into the mechanics of the brain that's happening, because he might be focusing on something else, but what I'm doing when I do it is not only being careful, I'm doing it at the moment, like you can see me. Not only am I careful to line my fingers up with each other, but I'm examining the differences in the nail bed or nail length size, because when they're pointing it at each other and side by side like that, you can really observe. So you can really see how it's like, it's a very kind of focused activity. Yeah, it is a self-soothing thing. It is. Like I say, it's like a little mini meditation that you can do where you pull into yourself. Don't you mean, Vera, don't you mean your wings? No. Chickens have nails. They have claws or talons, whatever you want to call them. Yeah, he's busying himself too. It's all in design of pulling himself away from this situation that he's now perceived as anxiety inducing and busying himself in a sense. And the only reason I can talk about this so confidently is because now he has said it's OCD. If we had been watching this before I had seen the other stream, I would have been speculating that that's what he was doing, but I can see that this is what he's doing. Can't be seen to not be making eye contact on purpose. Yeah. He's preening his feathers. I don't know if Bird Fam accept Remily into the flock. I don't know. I will not speak for everyone, but we've got some Bird Fam in here.
Was there anything else you were wanting to say to that, answer that question, baby?
No.
That was a shit thing to say. I'm sorry. That was weird. The whole thing is tense. Yummy. I do not. Bird Fam rejected. No, Lee Paw not welcome. Bird.
No, I think that's it.
Actually, I can show you, after she asks that, watch his face. There is a moment of like, that clearly says, oh, I can't believe she just said that. Watch his face.
To say to that, answer that question, baby?
Eyes closed for a moment.
I think that's it.
Yeah, Rainy, spamming in the chat's gonna get you timed out, babe. I can't always respond to all those little messages. Sorry, I was trying to figure out what was. It seemed like something was happening. I was trying to figure out what's happening. I got distracted, honey. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
And if you line this up after the last stream that we watched, where he was rejected at every turn, anytime he wanted to talk about his art or, you know, anything about him really, she was so dismissive, or like she either disengaged or talked over him or changed the topic or whatever it was. And this is just continuing to perpetuate that pattern. You can't help but think, oh, he also must be so bored, and the worst of all, wasting his time, unable to do things he'd rather be doing. You can't get his time back, and he has to spend his doing this. Yeah. And he's supposed to be doing like university work while doing this, but like I don't know how one could focus on that. I really don't. Got distracted from pretending to be a decent human being. Wait, she never started acting. She just thought she did. Yeah, he's also fully focused on her while she is fully focused on the chat. For her, this is about the audience's reaction. Yeah. What? Aimed at Roz? What happened? Did I apply something to myself that I thought... I don't know what's happened. Yeah, and I just want to really drive all of this home, because this is what we've been seeing. And what the main event essentially is going to be of tonight is that's going to change. Something's going to change. And I'm going to tell you what I think happened.
I will be right back.
Okay, honey. Well, the 5 years question, Ellen, is just kind of like, where do you see yourself in the future?
Oh, Moguri, thank you so much. That's really kind of you. You recently got out of a relationship and you're seeing some similarities to these patterns. Oh, I feel that. I really do. I'm so sorry. I'm so glad to hear that it's a past tense relationship. Sounds like you've got some healing to do, but onwards and upwards. Good for you for noticing it was toxic for you.
What's the point of the question? Let's just say that there's a specific person that lives in that area that is very dangerous to me and my well-being.
So she's talking about the Oregon thing again, and like I say, she just totally overrode him saying what he was hoping for his life and used it as that excuse to take a snipe at this particular person who's a, quote, hater.
I wouldn't feel safe living in that area.
Yeah, so, like, why bring it up? Why even make that the conversation? Why not say, you know, he just wants to be near an ocean? Why not say, I could totally see us doing that, babe? Like, why do this? This is so manipulative and shit. As a human being dealing with another human being, regardless of what you think of Remily. Oh, that's the Tay bell. That was a shit thing to say to override him laying his heart out for his future. And like this is Roz not being able to get through her head around somebody else's perspective, much like Rachel, just saying. Mr. Chukin wrote, his lordship is ready for his mumsy. Sorry, that's Tay. You know, it's not being able to get her head around her own perspective, but for some people to state those hopes and dreams online can actually be really difficult for people, but she didn't stop to consider that at all. Okay, all right, I'm going to give you Chook and Snack Crew. I won't be long. He's been good lately. Hopefully you enjoy. Welcome to June 2026 official Chook and Snack Crew. Where the clock has this year gone? I don't even know what's happening. Today, I want to do an extra special thank you to Amy, Emlyn, Carly, Veronica, and Yami, who are sponsoring this coop today. You have Axel, Salt, Pepper, Kylie, and Danny, respectively. This is the Silky Coop. I tried to give these guys popcorn for their special treat because this is usually quite the hit, but for some reason today, we weren't really feeling it. Anyway, so I switched to tuna. Tuna is always a very big hit and a pretty good choice because things have been eventful in this coop this month. So I'll probably split this video over 2 sections because there's quite a few to cover in this coop. So let's start with Salt and Kylie, who, because their silkies are prone to going broody at the drop of a hat, to be quite honest with you. And Kylie and Salt went broody together at the exact same time. And interestingly, they actually went broody at the exact same time last time as well. And what's weird about Danny is that I have never actually seen Danny go authentically broody. She does this like pretend broody when other people are broody, and then she stops being broody when they stop being broody. It's giving inauthentic. I'll just say that. Anyway, Salt and Kylie legitimately went broody at the same time together. And basically what was happening is, because Danny was still laying eggs while this was happening, Danny would go in, lay the egg, Kylie would scoop up the egg underneath her and sit on the egg, and then Salt would sit on Kylie, being the ultimate mum hen. Anyway, finally they've broken their brood, which is really good because being broody when you're not actually hatching baby chicks is just, it's a strain on their system that they just don't need ultimately. So I'm glad that they've snapped out of it and they'll be enjoying their tuna. So while this broody stint was going on, you know how a couple of snack crews ago I was mentioning that Miss Pep has gone into henopause. There was some real weirdness with her being rescued and having malnutrition and then finally growing to her proper size. She just doesn't lay eggs anymore, and it's not a big deal because the eggs are a happy byproduct. I'm ultimately interested in these chickens having a wonderful life. And Pep was taking it upon herself to go in and make the nests for everyone. But then everyone went broody. Well, mostly everyone. Pep does not make nests for Danny. But what she decided to do while Kylie and Salt were inside brooding was Pep would stand at the door. Welcome to part 2 of Official Chicken Snack Crew for April 2026. And an extra big thank you to Bobe, Symborical, Emlyn, Veronica, and Yamino, who are sponsoring Axel, Salt, Pepper, Kylie, and Danny. So today we have corn. Now, this Silky Coop, I'll just remind you that all of them except 2, that is Kylie and Danny. So the rest of them are all rescues from various situations, some better than others, but this is a very rescue-heavy coop. And little Axel has had his work cut out for him this month because all of the hens, except for Pep, have gone back to laying after a fairly extended broody/molting stint. So when that happens, they all start to fight over the nesting box, and this little guy, bless his heart, has no idea how to handle that. But I wanted to tell you a story specifically about what's happening with Miss Pep. So Pep has a bit of an interesting history. She was a rescue. She came to us in very, very poor condition, and she was very thin and very undersized. Actually, I thought she was the bantam variety, but we learned later that she wasn't. So what happened was we got them, started feeding them appropriately, of course. And Pep was laying at the time fairly regularly, but then one day she just stopped laying and started going through a growth spurt. And she actually grew quite a bit. Like, she probably put on half her body weight again, and she grew in size. And she hadn't actually laid since, which can unfortunately just be something. It could be a genetic thing, or it could be due to the malnutrition that she was experiencing early on in life. I don't really know the cause of it. Outside of that, she's completely healthy and happy. But one thing that she has started doing, because she doesn't lay anymore, when Salt, because you know Salt is her little duo buddy, her bonded pal, whenever it's a laying day for Salt, Pep knows ahead of time, and she waits for me when I go in the morning to let them out. And she follows me around until I get to the nesting boxes, and she watches me put all of the nesting box into the house and arrange it. She checks on it, and then she climbs into it and starts doing an action that before her I've only seen roosters do, which is making a nest. Some roosters will make nests for hens. And so Pep sits there and she makes this nest perfect for Salt. And every single morning that Salt lays, Pep does this. She, note, does not do it for Kylie and Danny. And if Kylie and Danny want to use the nest, hello, I have returned. He was a good boy. Went to bed really well. You saw a short today about a silky roo who fought off a raccoon to protect his girls. Nikki, I've seen a bantam rooster take on a bull and win. Axel, though, absolutely not. No, we've actually had a hawk fly into their coop because they've got bird netting above their coop because they don't really have a rooster that will defend them. We've had a hawk get into their coop and he was not taking it on. One time, he did try out his skills on a baby bunny that had wandered into their coop. He did his best hackle flare and a little growl. The baby bunny won. Oh dear. Anyway. Yeah, Axel's a special boy. Unfortunately, Axel is the soft rooster that people actually want to keep, but they're not the sort of roosters that are going to protect the flock. If you want the roosters that protect the flock, they're going to be a little spicy sometimes. And then you train them, like I have with Tay-Tay, and then I have a single gesture that I do to tell him I'm not into this, but then I put on the good pecky jacket and he's very happy. He can do his nighttime pecks. Tell us about chicken jail. Oh, was this about Nikki? Is that what you're referencing? So Nikki, the Barnavelda hen, she has an insane sense of justice. She is by far my smartest hen to a scary degree, to be perfectly honest with you. She will also fight as well. I've seen her defend the coop from a predator. She will get in with the roosters and fight off predators. But anyway, there was a rooster that we had. Roosters, when they're teenagers, are butts. There's just no ifs, ands, or maybes about it. They are butts. They're like teenage boys. They're all fight and all frick all the time. Anyway, one of the roosters was being just a pest, generally, to everybody. So Nikki pecked him, chased him into the coop, and then, no joke, turned around and stood guard at the door, not letting him out. I had to intervene. Does she identify as a rooster? I mean, maybe. She's not a really good layer, so she may have a bit more testosterone. I don't really know. She's fantastic, but she remembers everything. Seriously. She has held a grudge against Mr. Chukin for like 4 years now. For one single act, but yeah. Aren't all teenagers butts? Actually, yes, teenage hens are also butts. They're just hormone soup, and they need to get it out. Like Axel was never a fighter. Like, he didn't go through the I want to peck everything stage, but he did go through, and no joke, an I want to frick everything stage, and I mean every 5 seconds. It's all he was doing. If he wasn't sleeping and he wasn't eating, that's what he was trying to do. It was obscene. Wow, Nikki did all that. Different spelling. Miss Nikki has 2 Ks. Anyway, while I was putting Tay-Tay to bed, I actually had a thought. I realized that Remily and I actually started our journeys at the same age, which is interesting. Because I'm now, I'm turning 41 this year, and he's 26. He is, doing things faster than I would have been comfortable with. Dovahkiin, yes. Yeah. Alright, let's continue with Roz being a butt.
Because I think they'd show up to my house. So. Exactly, Horace. Yeah, personal reasons. Yeah. So anyway, no, I'm not kidding. I would have loved to have lived there, but I would never live there now. Yo, why is this? I just poked a hole in this. What do you? Why is?
I can't tell if she hasn't noticed that he's upset, or if she just legitimately doesn't give a shit, or if she's doing that, you know, the show must go on kind of thing. Oh, I just saw this. Nikki should have an emote with the blindfold and scales of justice. She should. That is definitely her emote. Like, for sure. Has Roz ever been to Oregon? I don't know. I don't know. You think she doesn't give a shit? Yeah. Quick question. All the Chookins are named after musicians, right? Who is Tay-Tay named after? That's right. Tay-Tay's named after Taylor Swift. I think this is why he's everybody's favorite. So for the longest time, Tay-Tay was looking like he was going to be a hen, and he was trying to lay eggs and doing hen things, and like it just, for everything it looked like. And then one day he crowed, and then he grew spurs, and then it was evident that he was not a hen, and by that point he knew his name, so I didn't want to change it. So Tay-Tay.
It's not working. The fuck? Here we go. Okay, I got a thumbtack. That's the one thing about this glue. It's very viscous. So.
Oh, that's interesting, Bella. Yeah, she's trying to keep him off balance. She wants him guessing. She wants him to not be sure if she's okay. No, that's the thing, Lee. No, has Roz ever expressed interest in Oregon, or is she just using the question as a way to bring up her trolls? From what I can tell, that's all it was. It was a way to take the focus off of Remily talking about his future, and a way to put it back on her as a victim. How do I turn this conversation away from him and into me being victimized in some way? That's how it read. I can't read it any other way. Like, why bring it up in that moment?
And I don't know if I'm just doing something wrong. Well, I definitely just hit glue just now, so. This is live, yes. There we go. Okay, we're in. There's something crusty. There we go. You gotta be real careful with this glue, bro, but it works, let me tell you.
Wait, Quantum Fish Sticks, when did you become a member? Did I miss that? Thank you so much. Welcome to the Clucking crew. I'm so sorry I missed, because I just remembered reading your name and it was white and now it's green. I see absolutely no history of that happening. I am so sorry. Yeah, I don't know when that happened. I'm sorry. But welcome. I appreciate you. Thank you. Yeah, this whole time he's away, I'm just imagining that he's having a moment of looking like that Ben Affleck smoking meme. I feel like it, like if this was me and Mr. Chookin, I mean it wouldn't be, but let's just assume. I think I'd be putting everyone on Be Right Back and just, you know, hey guys, I'm just gonna check, that's okay. You know? Like I don't know. She's obsessed with Cam. He probably has more of a case against her than she has against him, if you're honest. I wouldn't doubt it. I wouldn't doubt it. Also, everybody, my nuggets. Have you noticed I'm reading the comments better tonight? Did you notice? I'm so excited because the software I use has now enabled me to use open dyslexic font, and all of a sudden I can just read everything. It's so exciting. 5 minutes ago. Oh, Yeah, I checked all of my back-end systems and not one of them is reflecting it. So I'm sorry. Yeah, but I'm grateful to have you. Did I miss anything else while I was away? Also, if Cam was so obsessed, wouldn't he just get on a plane to Florida? If you wanted to really get her like that, she's ridiculous. What he did was wrong, but she's ridiculous. Well, see, that's the thing. Like, she's trying to equate, and granted, I just big disclaimer, I don't know much about this situation. I don't really care to know a lot about this situation. So I keep a bit of a neutral vibe about it. But she's trying to equate somebody who has hassled her online as somebody who would be a physical threat in real life. Those two things do not always go hand in hand. Granted, sometimes they can. But that is an unfair statement to put on somebody. Actually, if anything, I would be nervous about her living in my state. Has anyone checked, is Charlie okay? Did the yellow glasses thing work for me? Not really, no. But the font helps a great deal. A great deal. Yay, accessibility. I know, right? I'm so excited because I put this font on everything I possibly can. By the way, it's free for anyone who has dyslexia. It's just called Open Dyslexic. And it's amazing. The way they structure it, it makes it easier to track what line you're on and where the words are. And yeah, it's great. It's great. Yeah, yeah. Oh my god, speaking of Aussies, we have Aussie firefighters helping with the huge fire in your city. Oh, I've heard they do that. Yeah, well versed in bushfires for sure, unfortunately. Charlie isn't okay. Their body dysmorphia is so bad they think their overhead camera angle makes them look tall. Oh no. Could someone screenshot that and send it to Charlie? I'm gonna keep playing.
Okay. Hey, babe.
Yes, babe.
I think I'm gonna leave the live.
Okay.
I want to go eat something, and I also want to meditate. So,
Okay. I will finish up my nails, and then do you want a VC?
It depends on how I feel after meditation. Depending on what thoughts come up. But
Well, just text me then once you're done meditating. Let me know what the vibe is for tonight.
I'm sorry, but I don't think he could be more clear than saying, you have done something that has destabilized my mental health. I want to go look after that for me. I don't want to deal with you right now. But then she just overrides that. She doesn't give a shit. She doesn't pick up on any of that, which he's trying to be concise. I get it because it's on a live. But she's just like, okay, just text me when you're done meditating. Like, no. The response should have been, okay, take your space. Let me know when you're good. You know, like let it go. Put the ball in his court. Let him just do what he needs to do. I just there's no acceptance of boundaries, no autonomy, and I think that this is the biggest issue with their dynamic is everything is evidencing that she sees him as a pet or property or a servant or any of those sorts of words that don't go along with partner, and the levels of disrespect distress me genuinely. He's clearly upset. Her face, oh my god, go him, depends how I feel. Yeah, he stood up for himself. Sorry, but he's a drama queen. Okay, so Truma, I was going to say that I was going to call out that there is a level of immaturity showing here, because I think the less dramatic version of this and a more mature version of this would have been like, hey, something's just come up, I've got to go. You keep it light. You don't need to put it all out there all the time, and this is showing his lack of experience within the world, because this, like, speaking from a live streamer perspective, this is the kind of thing that brings a stream to a screaming halt. So he's not being like mindful of her space here either. However, I don't necessarily think it's unjustified. She's a decade older. Wild. Yeah. Yeah. They're both dealing with arrested development, for sure. Yeah, they do, don't they? They all do this. Seemingly, they seem to want their partner on call 24/7. Yeah, everybody's being triggered. Everybody's triggered. You base that on your hunch he's an actor. Yeah, so you're not alone in this thought process. And I do want to leave room for, like, I'm saying these things because it's what I see from my perspective, and like it's kind of why you're here, right? Is that not the point? I do leave room always for the fact that I'm wrong. I could be totally reading this incorrectly, and I'm not going to let him off light for the next stream that we're going to cover either. But like I've said, if this is an attention thing, if this is a fetish thing, if this is any of those things that involves him being in this 100% eyes open consensually, I'm considering that the best possible outcome here. I think it's important, though, that we leave room for the potential that this is actually an abusive relationship. And why that's important is because we need to keep the dialogue open about people who are struggling in relationships, especially when it's not the typical of like, oh, you know, physical, you know, he's been beating me for years, or that kind of thing. It's important to leave this open, especially for male mental health, because the illustrations and the lessons that they have that they can teach us and hold a mirror up to our own lives can actually be incredibly beneficial. So if I just sit here on my platform that is based in mental health and say, oh, he's just faking it, he wants all the attention, I would be concerned that I would be completely undermining and minimizing other people's experiences who are with or have been with somebody like Roz and the damage that they can create. So I don't, long story short, I don't necessarily think it's not an option, but it's not the option I'm going to give a lot of attention to. So, yeah. Just don't poo on stream. Oh my goodness. Yes, I agree with you, Nikki. And I think this is, well, we said it, I think I said it on our collab as well, that I think we can't pinpoint what it is specifically because it isn't any one thing, right? And so I think you're on point there where it's, you actually think there are several problematic things happening in tandem. I agree. And what happens after this stream and what I want to discuss, I think is adding even another layer again to this whole situation. What? Kaylee, are you okay? Your flaps are tickling? Oh, wait, are you talking about cramblings? Oh, you are. How did I know? Okay, I'll let this play out and then I want to talk about what I think has happened after that.
I'll let you know.
I love you.
Love you. Bye. Bye, guys.
Yeah, so he absolutely could have handled that differently and better, but she could have not done what she did either. Quantum fish sticks, as though membership is not enough. Thank you so much. That's really generous. If I want to be heard, I have the responsibility to listen. Thank you, Vera, for leaving the room. For nuance, it means a lot. Oh, thank you so much. It's what I try to do. We're all nuanced. We're all complex beings, and it's what we do, and it's important to discuss all of it. I'm not always perfect at it, but I will do my damnedest to encompass everybody. Thank you so much. Thank you. You haven't read his Reddit. Well, I'm clicking hello spoiled kitty. I haven't yet either. I have the info. I'm gonna look through it. Whether we cover it or not, I'm not sure yet. No, don't ever be sorry. No, don't be sorry to interrupt. I appreciate you. Thank you. Okay. So the next stream we're going to look at is the members only stream. I'm guessing a lot of you have seen it by now. It came out a few days ago. Nikki actually sniped it on her channel too. So I do encourage, I linked her video in the description of this as well. So please go check out her stuff as well. Thank you, Nikki. I pilfered your stuff and edited you out. I apologize. But if you do hear her talking a little bit, or if you see things pop up on the screen, that's why, because I've pulled it from that live, because members only. There's only so many ways you can get that. So anyway. Now, this members only stream, what's really important to notice is that from this, what we've just watched, to that one, there is a massive attitude shift in both of them. The dialogue is completely different. The, oh, you could have gotten the download for me. Yes, but Nikki, remember what happened last time? I don't want to ask. I don't want to add to your schedule. I'm okay to do my own shit. But yeah, thank you. Poor Nikki. I got her a copyright strike because I asked for a members only video, and she downloaded it and went to upload it, but it had managed to like grab Dr. Phil as well. And of course, because Dr. Phil and all of those people are so copyright strike happy, whoops. Yeah, I'll just give you notice because you're like, yeah, that's okay. Thank you, Nikki. I'll keep you in mind. But if I can do something myself, I just will do it myself. Also, when my situation changes, I will probably get my own membership, and it's a lot easier. So, yeah. Just right now, Roz doesn't get my money. No. Anyway, yeah, not Dr. Phil. It was Dr. Phil. I felt so bad too because she'd just gotten her monetization back. I was like, oh my god, humiliated. Now, what I think. Oh, okay. Libby also downloads and is happy to share. Awesome. I will keep that in mind. Charlie has also offered that I can ask her for things too. I just legitimately have a problem putting myself into somebody else's schedule. Because time is, yeah. Autoplay Dr. Phil of all things. I know, right? Anyway. Enough of Dr. Phil. No. He doesn't, he does not get this stage. Okay, so what I'm noticing is a complete and utter shift in language, in demeanor, just in everything. And also, we start to see them lay out a whole lot of plans for the future. Now, this is significant because he clearly left this stream on a bad note. He needed to center himself, and what I think has happened is they've had a very long, potentially very heated conversation where he feels like something has been remedied, or he feels heard, or, you know, something to that effect where something positive has come out of that conversation, right? Why I say that is because the vigor at which he is now shifting, wanting to make a whole lot of future plans, and also the way you'll notice it, she stops herself from talking over him in this next stream. That's significant. What can happen sometimes when you're in a relationship, I'm sure many of you have experienced this, and this is toxic or healthy relationships, this can happen, right? Where there's a misalignment, which is natural, and it happens because it's two or more people coming together and trying to fit their past trauma, their future expectations, things like that together. And there's like, you know, there can be friction. That's normal. And what should happen is that you come together and you discuss it. Whether it's a bit heated or not is irrelevant, so long as there's nothing like name calling and stuff like that. I would say that kind of discourse can be really healthy for a relationship. And what happens is when you feel like something has been accomplished and something has been talked through and you've been heard, and now there's going to be meaningful change and it's for the better, you get a hit of dopamine. And what do we know dopamine's good for? Planning things and being excited about doing things. And it is the hormone that gets released that causes us to do these things. That's great. with one epic disclaimer. So long as the other party is actually going to be having your best interests at heart and be willing to actually make meaningful change. And I think that when we're looking at this relationship, that's a problem because we're talking about Roz. And now look, I'm not saying she can never change. I'm not saying that this couldn't be the ultimate love of her life that puts her on a much better path. Historically, she has not evidenced that she is willing to do that. Yes, it's reinforced. So, what can then happen in a toxic relationship? And I know that some of you are going to know full well what I'm saying is true, and I'm sorry if you've been through that. But what can happen is, say, I'm just going to use these two on the screen for the example. I'm not saying that this is exactly what's happening, but just for our illustrations, right? It's easier. What can happen in a toxic relationship is somebody like Remily brings up and puts out on the table all of the things that have really been hurting him. And maybe this has been really difficult. Maybe this has been something that he's been scared to do up to this point, whether because of the partner or because of past trauma, whatever the case may be. And it feels good, especially when the other party involved is actually listening, right? And so that hence the feel-good hormones. But what can happen, now this is absolutely what my mother did and potentially what other people have experienced in various relationships, not just romantic ones, is the manipulator can clock on to, oh shit, okay, this is actually one of those moments where I can't really, victim my way out of this. I need to actually make this person feel like they've been heard because this could be a deal breaker. And when you, yeah, I hear you, Nikki. I'll come back to you with that one. When you get a manipulator that clocks onto that, now they have a very powerful tool to be able to instill hope in their partner. And what I mean by hope is that now they can say, oh yes, I'll change. You're totally right. I can see how I was a complete and utter cloaca in that situation. This is going to be different. I love you. You are the love of my life. I will do anything to keep you. And then there's change for a bit. And in this case, I think we can evidence that he did bring up her interrupting him. Because the next stream, there's a few times where she stops herself from interrupting him. And then when there's that hope, what happens is the change that is being exhibited will eventually wane because that's not actually who they are and nor is it what they really care to do. And then the Remily in this situation is back to square one going, but hey, what about me? What about the change? Where did that go? And so then the whole thing will happen again and you wind up in this weird, toxic hope, guilt, dopamine-infused cycle of just fights and discussions and disappointment, and it will keep going until Remily, in this case, realizes that meaningful change is never actually going to be sustainable. Because ultimately that person doesn't actually care about your feelings or you, generally speaking, in that relationship. And this is why I say I think we're at the point of no return for Remily. I think this conversation has been had, conversation/argument, I don't know. I don't know how mature these two people are to have a sit-down rational conversation when they're yelling, but he's now experienced this. He feels heard. Maybe he's felt heard for the first time in his entire life. Maybe he's never opened up to anybody like that or stood up for himself in a way like that. And maybe that feels damn good to have done. And not only did he do it, not only did he summon all of that strength, but she listened. And now she's making meaningful change. And just that single action, I think, has locked him in this cycle now, which is devastating. And I just want to underline again, I'm not saying he's 100% victim in this. I'm really not. Like, yes, he's a sentient adult. I get all of that. I just want to highlight to everybody how these coercive, controlling relationships can look from the inside. And it's not always that baseline, the way media depicts it and things like that. It's not everything is always to the most severe degree, is my point. But yeah, I was just going to come back to Nikki. We know that their first fight, he brought up her health/weight, and that was their first actual fight. Noteworthy. I agree with you. Yeah. Yeah, and then he met Roz. Yep. Remy did say in his Reddit that he likes people trauma dumping on him. I think he likes to be able to feel like he can help people. I think that's part of his thing. It's a band-aid on a broken cycle. It so is. Yeah. Yeah. I know. So so I've gone through his first lot of Reddit leak in Alive, and you were sick as Clark and you only remember Subby Boy. Honestly, that was most of it was talking about his experiences with his mother and religion, and honestly the fact that he's clearly trying to find himself, not just on a sexual level but on an identity level, generally speaking, was the main takeaway. You hope he's talking about this with his therapist, honestly, about his relationship. I really don't believe he can see this relationship for what it is yet. I think there's gaslighting. I think there's love bombing. I think there's too much hope and too little experience going on. But, yeah, actually, yes, Pulpy's wig. That's trauma bonding, though, isn't it? The cycle of harm and repair. That is the true definition of trauma bonding, yes. So, also, can I just highlight here as well, because we're talking about an abusive relationship here, right? And lots of people find themselves in these situations for varying degrees and various reasons. But what we're about to watch in the next live that I'm covering, the members only one, there's some stupid shit that comes out of Remilly's mouth. There really is. And I can see where it's coming from. I'm not going to sit here and defend his stupid shit. I'm not. This is why I say I think this is about to escalate. And it is what it is, right? I'm not going to excuse it. What I will say, though, is just because that's happening, it doesn't negate the fact that he may be in a highly abusive, controlling relationship. And something that is kind of more quintessential to point to is, for example, I think one of the most cliche things that we hear about coercive controlling relationships is that the victim gets isolated from their friends and from their family. Now, what people don't finish that sentence. How that happens is not the perpetrator saying to those family members, no, you can't speak to them anymore. I mean, sometimes maybe that's, but for the most part, it's going to be the victim cutting them off. So we can see like evidence-based, quote, bad behavior of cutting off friends and family, sometimes not in a very nice way as well, but it's still the byproduct of the coercive controlling relationship, right? I also can point to some really shitty actions that I did while I was under the manipulation of my mother. And my mother used predominantly guilt, but also fear in order to control me into things. And I cut off some friendships in some really brutal ways that I'm not proud of. And if you could have seen these, you wouldn't be proud of me doing those things either. But although I'm not shirking the entire responsibility onto my mother, I was operating under a shroud of like alternate reality almost. And yeah, it's just, I just want you to keep that complexity. If you've never been in one of these relationships, I want you to keep that in your mind, that this is a possibility as to what's going on. Yes, he doesn't have to be liked or correct or a good guy to not be a victim. That's very well said, Bella. Thank you. Yeah, your mum's the same way. Ugh, I'm sorry, computer. Yeah. regardless of who he is or what he's into, it's clear who's driving this whole scenario. Yeah. I just wanna leave room for that to be a potential. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm totally off base here about what's happening. But just in case I'm not, you know? You see their relationship as the same as Shani and Rev, in that Rev is being mistreated, but he's done some heinous things. So you have sympathy for the situation, but not the person. I think that's where this is going to go to. So long as he's under her, like, control or influence even. Did I say it wrong? It's interpersonal, not intrapersonal. Did I? Sorry if I said it wrong. I'm speaking very fast. None of this is scripted. People who become victims are imperfect, and they are people who have weaknesses, and those weaknesses get exploited by those who recognize them. That, can I just, like, I'm just going to permanently keep that up on my, this is it, right? It's, put yourself into this situation. It's easy as coming at it from a strong, centered adult to say, well, I wouldn't buy into her bullshit. But when you're coming from a place of, like, loneliness, doubt, guilt, ridden with insecurity, these things can make us do, even if we're good people, these things can make us do things that we wouldn't do on our own. And it doesn't make him weak, and if you're in this situation, it doesn't make you weak or bad or wrong or anything. It just means that somebody who has ill intent has spotted it. You understand? I understand what you mean, Vera. You are the one that made those decisions, but those decisions were also not 100% made by you solely, because you always had someone else telling you what to do. Yes. And I think the key thing is that, look, if I could talk to those people and apologize to them today, I wouldn't say it was because of my mother. I would still take accountability for the fact that I did it and make sure that I don't do it moving forward, right? That's the accountability factor. You cut off your family out of shame and fear of being forced to leave, even though you were a DV victim. Leads to a lot of self-blame too. Yeah, I'm so sorry, Pulpy's wig. I'm sorry you experienced that. But yeah, so let's keep in mind that the point that I want to drive home is, let's keep in mind that these complexities can happen, and it is absolutely possible that he's just a willing participant in this. That's not my point. But the reality is that there are people who have gone through this, who are watching this. I don't want them to take self-blame for something that some shithead in their life took over their autonomy. It's not right. And it's important that these people can feel heard, and that they know they can step out of their situation and still be accepted. It's not nice to be judged in your weakest moment, is my point. So whether he turns out to be a shit person or not, I'm still going to hold that as a potential. Yeah, real life is messy. No one is absolved completely. No one is 100% right. I think he would respond differently being treated so different. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I agree. So let's get into this members only stream. Now, I did cut out a large amount of it. This stream, by the way,
I will never.
Shut up. This stream, by the way, if you want to go watch Nikki's one, it's worth it. What didn't make the cut on this stream for me was she tried to make somebody else's grief about her. I couldn't believe it, that she's just turning this person's absolute grief over losing a pet into something that is to do with her. That didn't make the cut because I want to talk about their relationship, but my goodness, Madam is relentless. You ended up having no one in your life just so your parents could have you at their beck and call. Yeah, that was pretty much my situation too. I'm sorry, Maria. You have a cat who says she can do lobotomies, but every time you get a migraine, she just licks your forehead with her stinky breath. You think she's Allah? See what I mean about the humor? I knew it would come in. I knew it. Oh, dear. Oh, dear. Thank you for cutting out the dog. Yeah, no problem. I usually don't do pet stuff, honestly. I don't like it either. You just skim the old Reddits. Honestly, he's pretty boring. He's just a dude, like, trying to work himself out, really. That's all it was. Yeah. So. Vera is spicy. Instead of going shush, she went full shut up. At least I didn't say shut the clock up. You want to swap your lazy boy as the woolshedder's chili, but you're also trying to work on some spreadsheets, and the lazy boy does not lend itself to productive keyboard usage. Oh, cramblings, I have such a dream setup that involves a lazy boy, 3 screens, and a very comfortable keyboard setup. Anyway, I digress. Let's get into this one.
I will never. I don't even tell my boyfriend 90% of my intrusive thoughts. I never talk about them. But actually, I'm not going to go in depth on that. But what I will say is I relate very much with intrusive thoughts and images when trying to sleep. Because what I'll say for me is I have had medical professionals tell me that, like, I have OCD tendencies, but not OCD, which helped me make sense because I can be obsessive about certain things, but I don't have, like, the full criteria for it. I don't experience certain aspects of the disorder. But there are people.
Yeah, because just like every other condition, there are overlaps with neurodivergence or even neurotypical or sometimes just personality traits into other things. I'm really surprised that she's not claiming OCD.
People who have PTSD or other disorders that can have certain like similarities, and that's why they'll, for certain diagnoses, they'll say things like OCD like tendencies, for example.
Yeah, my latest diagnosis is OCD. It's more of a moral OCD where, like, I hyperfixate on, like, making the quote unquote correct or right decision when I'm faced with, like, a moral dilemma.
Okay, so for those of you who aren't familiar, I just want to highlight that, hang on one moment, I came prepared. Yes, I did. There are a lot of sites that talk about this sort of thing. This is not exactly the most reliable site, I will say, but it did concisely put all the information that I wanted in one place. So this is what we're going with. Now, when it comes to subtypes of OCD, these are not acknowledged by the DSM-5. That is important to know. And I understand what people are trying to do by creating these subtypes. I understand that they're trying to place themselves within a mental health condition that they clearly have, but feel like it doesn't match what media puts out there about OCD, because the OCD stuff is just so, like, I feel like it's always about, like, the tapping things or the repeated, like, switching light switches on and off and on and off, and it's that kind of thing. So speaking from experience, my OCD largely, like, for the most part, it's a complicated thing, right? But for the most part, if I could sum it up, I would say intrusive thoughts are the number one thing that happens, but also rumination. So, like, mental looping will happen for absolutely no reason at all. And what I would liken that to is sort of like, you know, when you get a song stuck in your head and you really can't get rid of it no matter what you do, that, but with some really heinous things. And also I find it very easy, or I did when I was younger, I found it very easy to get trapped in pattern making. What I mean by that, like, if I was put in front of a tiled floor or something, I would find all of the different shapes that I could, but it's not like a cute fun thing. It's like a I'm stuck here until I do it kind of thing, or the world is going to end. What I really want to stress is that pretty much all of OCD is fear-based, and that's what you need to know. It's all driven by something horrible happening if certain things are not done. And so what he's describing is one very small aspect of OCD, and I don't doubt that if he's been diagnosed with OCD, there's going to be a lot more to it. But I just want to run through this really quick too. Oh, yes. I hate it when people just say that, who just like things to be tidy, claim to have OCD. As someone diagnosed with OCD, I wouldn't wish it upon my worst enemy. It's so hard to live with. I agree with you, Marge. I feel that too. I wouldn't wish it on anyone. It's not cute. It's not fun nor fresh. It's horrible. It's crippling. It's debilitating. Yeah, it's been archetyped. Yeah. So, but here's the thing that I do want to get across to you. OCD, while the cause of it happening is heavily debated, it is ultimately a behavioral thing. So we're not talking about like schizophrenia or bipolar where there's actually something neurologically misfiring. What we're talking about with OCD is a brain who's learned to interpret threat incorrectly, and then also on top of it learned a coping mechanism that is not productive. So it's kind of a brain that's learned things incorrectly. And whether or not there can be genetic predisposition to it and things like that, that's still being debated. But we are ultimately talking, and this is why I say I really want to be very careful with people who are in here with OCD. Do not apply what I'm saying about Remily to yourself. You know your situation, and this is my situation, and here's what I have to say. OCD can be retrained. It is not something that you need to just identify with for the rest of your life, compared to something like bipolar, for example, that he also says he has. That is a chronic condition. OCD can be trained out of, and you don't have to let it cripple your life. And that coming from somebody who absolutely was crippled by it in every way. So it's so much easier for me to sit there and just say all of that. It is a long process. It took me years to be able to achieve this, but I'm sitting here today talking to you as somebody who had been previously crippled by OCD, as being completely unmedicated, and it's completely in check. And I don't know if I would say that it ever like fully goes away, but you learn how your brain works, and you learn the warning signs of OCD popping up, and it gets to a maintenance point is what I'm trying to depict. I would argue it probably needs therapy. It really does. But there is a decent prognosis for OCD. It's not something you just need to settle with, right? Is my point. Okay, so these subtypes. Now, the major dimensions that they talk about here, this is recognized, this bit. So they kind of break it down into 4 sections, sometimes 5, but the 5th one is hoarding, and there's a big like disclaimer around that of like kind of, but not really. But contamination and cleaning, so that's one that we kind of know a lot, right? Like, quote, germaphobes, and we see that a lot. Symmetry and ordering, so I fell under both of those too, but taboo thoughts, which are like the intrusive thoughts, and harm and checking. So that can be like the constantly going back and making sure things are off, but not just because you're worried about it, but because you have to. It is a compulsion, right? Yeah, the fear sometimes plateaus. But see, you know, this is also why I developed my fear monster idea, because then you can kind of separate it out from yourself and go, okay, it's the fear monster that wants to be fed, so I can just choose not to feed it. There's a whole thing behind it. Anyway, yeah, OCD for the most part is fear-based. When you whittle all of these down, they come into a fear thing. And sometimes when we're talking about like what he's talking about, the morality stuff is usually heavily in line, although not always, with religion. And that can be like, if I don't pray every single night in this exact way, then my entire family is going to die, right? So there's still a fear behind it. And that's what I'm trying to articulate here. I know this is really random, but Vera, your voice is way less shaky than when you started this channel. Can you audibly hear? Oh, thank you. I can't take that compliment though. I really can't. Okay, so if I don't project, my voice gets shaky. If I dial it back and you can hear it, and every now and then you can actually hear that coming through, and that's just a projection thing. But when I project, there's more oomph behind it. It's just a singing thing. It's not a nerve thing, unfortunately. I can't claim that. Although what I will say, I did do this channel scared, but it's not the shaking of the voice thing. But thank you. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, you create control where there is none, except it's a fake sense of control because it's not actually control. Anyway, they then go on to talk about all of the different types of OCD, and this is where I just kind of get into the realm of I feel like you're overthinking it at this point because we start getting into false memory OCD, hoarding OCD, magical thinking OCD, relationship OCD. And like, yes, all of these things are part of OCD. Yes, I'm using my diaphragm. Exactly. I am projecting. But yeah, anytime you hear my voice shake, that's all it is. I've stopped projecting. I hate it too. I really hate it because it makes me sound like I'm about to cry. And people have commented that, oh no, you sound like you're on the edge of tears. I'm not. That is still beautiful. Oh, thank you. No, there has been. I did my channel scared for sure for a while. And then I started doing lives and then I did those scared for a while. Save projection for the girls. Oh dear. Anyway, so yeah, you can kind of, I just needed to scroll past one really quick there, but there was a bad word. Like perinatal OCD, postpartum OCD, real events OCD. Do you see what I mean? And this is the one here, scrupulosity or religious or moral OCD. And that's what he's talking about. And it's obsessions about sinning. I can't scroll up, sorry, because there's a bad word. Obsessions about sinning, blasphemy, or being morally corrupt with compulsions like excessive prayer or confession. Example, repeating a prayer until it's perfect because a stray thought during it seems to cancel it out. So I don't like that religion is always tied to this because I definitely had this, but it also circles around use of guilt a lot. Like if I don't do something exactly right, then I feel intense guilt about it, right? So this kind of thing, I feel like there is a line that we can walk between educating ourselves about what's happening in our life and then getting too caught up in the planning. Because here's the thing about OCD, right? Or other mental health issues as well, is you can get yourself stuck in this sensation where it's like, if I just understand it more, then I'll be able to get past it. I'll be able to defeat it. If I can just get that feeling right, then I'll be able to just push through and everything will be better. But the reality is, if you wait for that feeling is never going to come. It's a fallacy, right? And so you can't wait for that. You have to just start acting, which is why I put so much emphasis on, practicing the skill sets to get yourself through the parts of your life that aren't working for you, because action is the key to all of this. If you're waiting for perfection, it's never going to come. And I am concerned that Remily is getting himself into this spot by getting into all of this. Anyway, there's heaps of resources online. If you want to read about it, you can. That was just my little preamble about OCD. And yeah, I don't disagree with going to a therapist, like especially if you need to get some medication help with it. I think that could really help to start sorting through the thoughts, but ultimately you have to just start practicing the skills, and that is the most important thing. So he needs to replace a bad thought with a good thought. That is such a good question. No, not quite. So with OCD, a lot of the thought process is, if I don't X, then Y will happen, right? Put in a huge amount of various things that could happen in those two scenarios. What you need to do in order to practice moving through OCD is to deliberately not do the thing that your brain is telling you need to do, and allow yourself to witness that nothing happens. So, for example, in my maintenance phase, this sounds really trivial, but it's just how I keep my brain in check. For example, and it drives Mr. Chucken up the wall, my brain wants to order everything all the time, because if there is control in order, then life will move smoothly and there'll be no stress. Absolute fallacy, right? We know that's not true. So I deliberately put things back in random positions to keep my brain challenged of, look, all of this randomness is happening. There's no pattern here. And nothing bad has happened. Sometimes bad things happen, but that's a completely random number. So in order to be able to show your brain that even though you don't do those things, nothing bad happens, right? Does that make sense? It's not just replacing it with a positive thought, because your brain will reject that. The intrusive thoughts can be tricky because sometimes they're really bad, like really bad stuff. And I think what that is important to do is to acknowledge that they're not actually your thoughts. It can be especially distressing when it's about like children or animals or loved ones and things like that, but you need to acknowledge they're not your thoughts. And I have developed a little thing with my brain where I call it my shit-stirring brain. And when I start getting horrible thoughts in my head, it's like, oh, it's my shit-stirring brain. Nope, it's just trying to make my life difficult. It can go sit over there in the corner. You know, does that make sense? So I'm able to separate. I've practiced separating myself from the intrusive thoughts, and you just acknowledge that they will pass and you just wait it out. That's the reality. It's like having a tummy ache. You just have to wait it out. But yeah, happy to answer any questions about this. I have been on this journey for a very long time, and it's why I want to highlight the difference. Remily is a 26-year-old man. I'm a essentially 41-year-old woman. There's a big difference there, and the time and the practice, it's critical. So yeah, just tell me if you have questions. Mods, if I miss questions, can you just yell at me, please? And yeah. Thank you, brain, for trying to protect me with this fear-based behavior, but respectfully, you're clucking wrong. Yes. Exactly that. Sometimes brains just misfire. Sometimes they're not doing the thing that is best for you. And when you have OCD, you kind of just need to accept that and be able to acknowledge when that's happening. You have intrusive thoughts that you have done violent or destructive things, and you know you haven't done, but you feel like you've done them. Yeah. I have my intrusive thoughts will sometimes manifest me doing them, like presenting it like I want to do them. Like, no, I don't want to do them. And it can be a very distressing experience. Some of the things are awful. Awful. You probably need therapy, but listening to Vera is a lot quicker and cheaper. I know therapy's expensive. Look, in all honesty, I haven't found a great deal of help with therapy for myself, but I think it's a really important thing to try, because if it is something that's going to work for you, it can change your life. For me, I found it more beneficial to get over my whole situation and just start practicing the skills. Just do the thing. And you're going to hear me say that a lot. Yeah. I want you to know, Vera, I was locked in because I wanted to hear your answer, but I was fighting for life with your ADHD wanting to read the chat on why wombats poop cubes. They do. I don't know why they do, but they do. I've seen it with my own face. Okay, Vera, I have a question. What is love? Baby, don't hurt me. Don't hurt me. No more. I'm sorry. Serious? Oh. That's a hard question. Why do you throw the hard questions? This is like, why is life? Checkmate. I know, I'm fully stumped. How to define love? Because what it boils down to is it's a feeling, right? And so you're trying to articulate what the feeling is. You could talk about the actions, but then I feel like love is different for everybody. And yeah, I don't know that I have a decent answer for you on that one. Whole bunch of chemicals. I mean, kind of. Yes, I'm sorry. I feel like that's above my pay grade, but I know that I've got it. Love chemical trickery. Yeah, you have contamination issues and also the loved ones issue. You think it can be a trauma response since your dog passed, the rituals have gotten much more complex. Yes. So a traumatic event is something that can spark OCD. It's not necessarily something, well, it's not something that you're born with. There's a lot of reasons and things that can spark OCD, but yeah, that's absolutely one of them, because if you analyze it, sorry Nikki if this is about to get too deep for you, but essentially what you're saying is you went through an experience that was so heartbreaking for you, and you felt so insanely out of control in that moment that you are now seeking a sense of control where there really can't be realistic control gained, because death is one of those things that it's going to happen to all of us, every single living thing in this entire, well, except those jellyfish, you know what I'm talking about. You know, it's part of life, and so therefore there's no control to be had, but you can see why the sense of control wanted to be spawned, right? Yeah. So, yeah. Love sure as hell ain't Remy and Roz. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. So, all right, let's continue to get into this, because I have so many thoughts through all of this, and yeah, it's gonna get heavy.
I also have like perfectionist problems, where like things have to be done a certain way, or I need to explain to me with, you know, explain to me in a certain way so that I understand it. I really struggle with, you know, not having a routine. So yeah.
I'm proud of you for sharing that, baby, because yeah, I know.
Yeah, exactly. The doctor said, try not doing the routine and show yourself that nothing happens. That's exactly right, because then you can show your brain that this distinct thing was not done, and it's so uncomfortable, especially when you're first doing it. It is really, really unsettling. But you practice it as much as you possibly can every time there's an opportunity, and your brain eventually learns that, oh yeah, no, see, I have evidence now for this thing. You hesitate to say you have OCD, but you have intrusive thoughts often, and it's horrible. I feel that. You also eat the food on your plate from worst to best, which annoys the Darkwick. You and I have that in common. I do that too. I will eat my least favorite thing on the plate first. Always. Delayed gratification, baby. Yeah, we're rocking it. Yes, the only way out is through, unfortunately, and it's so uncomfortable. But yeah.
That's more recent. That's been this year. That happened after we met.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you know, you have other stuff that we haven't gone super in depth on because the internet be crazy.
So that's an important timeline too. He's only been diagnosed with OCD because it was brought to his attention via all of this. And I've been saying OCD. I think I first said OCD when I did his Reddit posts, actually, because I could see signs of it. I wasn't sure, but it looked like it to me. And I mean, on the one hand, I'm kind of like, I'm glad that he came to that awareness. On the other hand, I'm like, don't listen to people in this space. This is not for you. Don't do that. Nothing good can come of that. Yes, during the relationship, he was diagnosed. So since he met her. And that's, I think, very critical to keep in mind.
Right. Right. But when I say I've been working on myself a lot, that's been one of them, is my OCD and battling those compulsions. And I'm in therapy. I'm doing well. I'm on medication for it and stuff like that. So
I love that. I think that is a really good step for him to be doing. I have reservations as to whether or not meaningful growth can happen while she's in his life. I feel like those two things are counterintuitive. I feel like if he really wanted to be in a relationship with her, he needed to get right first so that he can be sure to set up his own firm boundaries, right? Yeah, you still think he's autistic? He could be. he could be. There's a lot of overlap between OCD and autism, for sure. And other things. There's a whole lot of overlap with everything, to be fair. That's why you're hoping the doctor is aware of the relationship and what's made clear. See, this is my reservation about thinking about people in therapy, right? The therapy is only going to work as well as two factors. One, how honest you are with them, and two, how much you put into practice what they're teaching you. So CBT is a really good thing for OCD because it's a behavior-based mechanism. CBT, I think, is unbeaten when it comes to behavioral things. But can we trust that he can see this relationship for what it is while he's being love bombed? Like, can those two things exist in a room together? I don't know. That's what casts doubt on my mind about it.
You're just coming out you're just coming out of your most recent med adjustment, so you seem to be doing a lot better.
Yeah, for sure.
It's been interesting, just like being your partner. I've like done a little bit of research, trying to learn and understand a bit better about it, and like, because as someone who doesn't have
I just want to note that this is the first time we've heard her talk about doing research about his conditions. This is the first time she's mentioned it, and I don't know, but I can't help but feel that this has been spawned from that conversation that I'm speculating may have happened. CBT can do wonders, yeah. When it's applied correctly, I think is the most critical thing. I think sometimes people try to put CBT where it doesn't belong, and there's better forms of therapy, but for this, yes. Absolutely. You're a CBT hater, low-key. I just think sometimes therapists, psychologists can try and CBT through everything. And I get frustrated with that. It needs to stay where it belongs. That's all I have to say about that. Your mother asked if you'd had a med change recently and you were acting more expressive recently. No, mother, I'm just less depressed thanks to time. I'm happy for you, Cramlings.
OCD, I feel like I relate to the notion of like really grappling with like making like the quote unquote right decision to a point of like driving yourself crazy. But I've seen how it affects you and how it like when unmanaged, it consumes you.
It does. And I think the biggest issue that I have, because he talked about the scrupulosity OCD, that looking back, I think was one of the clearest things that my mother was able to manipulate within me. And the way guilt was applied and the way insinuations were applied, it's like she learned that she could just do a look in the end, and I fell apart. I completely fell apart, because then all of the intrusive thoughts take over, and all of the rumination and the loops and all of that happens. And I am concerned that Roz is a skilled enough manipulator to be able to dial into that. And I'm also concerned that now that we're hearing about this OCD, all of that like micro expression, everything that he's been analyzing, he's essentially been internalizing. Because here's the thing about OCD, is it very rarely exists in a world of logic and fact. For the most part, we're talking about irrational fears. And sometimes just completely made up shit. So, yeah. Nikki's on 1%. Yeah, how long before Roz is starting to claim she has OCD too? I'm surprised she's not doing it already, to be perfectly honest with you. therapy can also be corrective regardless of therapy type if you have a good therapeutic relationship. That's key for sure. This is particularly true if you have a lot of past relationship trauma, lack of support otherwise. I agree. I have to say, I found so much benefit in getting over my thought processes. I don't know if anyone resonates with this. You're plugged in, Vera, don't fret, all is well with the world. It's like I would overthink and overthink and overthink so much that I got to the point where it's like, I am so sick of myself. I am sick of this. I'm sick of the song and dance. I'm just gonna do the clocking thing, hence do the clocking thing. No, seriously, I just got so sick of myself overthinking everything, and that really sparked the movement forward, and I haven't looked back since. Yes, I think this is valid. He doesn't trust his own intuition. Absolutely. So how much can Roz manipulate this situation? Whether or not she is, I don't know. But the potential is there, and that's concerning.
It's literally an obsession that can, if it's unmanaged, it can affect me like on a really bad level.
Yeah.
So
One second. I'll be I'm gonna mute real quick. 1 second. With my stuff, and like I've talked about it at length, right? Like my PTSD, my PTSD specifically, I feel like is my most disabling like mental illness.
PTSD is also in the same camp as OCD in the way that the brain is misinterpreting and then misreacting, like overreacting or reacting incorrectly to inappropriate stimulus. And this is also something that you can train your brain out of. None of these things are easy to do. Please don't sit there and hear me saying, oh, you can just do it. You know, no, it takes a lot of focus. It takes relentless practice. And it's heckin' uncomfortable while you're doing it, especially in the beginning. It gets a lot easier. But, you know, to get to the point where whether we're talking about PTSD or whether we're talking about an OCD thing cropping up, I can just, you know, decide that I'm just going to wait it out because I know that the sensation will leave. To be able to get to that management level, I think is critical for your well-being. Regarding, because now we're going to get into the situation of talking about disabilities and things like that. And do you know what? At no point in my life have I actually stopped to consider OCD as a disability. I looked it up. It's absolutely considered a disability. That was outside of my awareness, to be perfectly honest. I don't know. We're going to see some very interesting words. Yes, it is. PTSD is also something that gets better with treatment. It took you 3 years of weekly therapy. You finally graduated. Your therapist graduated you. It can really get better. It really can. It really can. You haven't gotten there yet, so thanks. It does. It gets better. It takes practice. It takes hard work. But you can get there. You can. These are not things you just need to accept for yourself. If they don't work for you, don't accept it. You can choose to change these things. I promise you that.
Like,
yeah,
you know, and it's what disables me the most. Like when I have like higher stress responses to things, it literally makes me physically ill and sick and like
and see, this is where I feel like, because I've heard a lot of people go on about how people say your brain is you shouldn't be separating. I actually, in this context, found it beneficial to separate my brain from me because I feel like, you know, if we're talking about OCD, for example, PTSD, for example, it's like, okay, my brain is overreacting just for a moment. It wasn't correct. It's going to go through its little, you know, process that it wants to go through. I'm going to feel like shit while that happens. But to me, it felt better to separate myself from that experience where it's more like just something that the brain needs to do rather than this is reality and this is my life. Does that make sense? I don't know. But like I say, this is talking about my experience and what I see on the screen. You know your life and whether anything I say is going to be beneficial. Don't interpret anything or apply anything that you feel is going to be not beneficial for you. I need to rely on all of you as adults. I need to trust that you're going to do the right thing for your brain.
It's something.
I mean, I have PTSD myself for, you know, and I've had it for a while, and I've been working on that as well. I've done more work on my PTSD, and also like my triggers for my PTSD are like pretty specific. Like it's not like, you know, I'm getting triggered every day, you know. But I would say the disability that affects me the most recently has been OCD.
This language worries me. This language makes me think that he is giving over to it. It also makes me think that her influence is rubbing off. There's something about the terminology, although it may be fact-based, there's something about the terminology of saying to yourself, the disability that I struggle with the most. There's just something, I feel like that's going to be doing him a disservice. Rather than, for example, what I mean is the language of, I don't have the skills right now to be able to deal with this in the way that I want, but I'm going to start practicing those every chance I get. Or this is something that I just haven't quite got the skill set sorted yet. Do you know what I mean? Like there's something final about saying disability, especially when we're talking about something that does not need to be lifelong, and oftentimes is not lifelong for people. But he's talking about it as though he's just fully accepted. This is just who I am. I have OCD. I'm going to have it for the rest of my life. If he was talking about his bipolar like this, I would have a different tune. But you can look up. It's well documented, the prognosis of OCD. It does not have to be a long-term thing. For some people it is, but it doesn't have to be, is my point. Yes, this is a lot of information, Remy. Don't resign too soon. That's what it feels like to me too. Yeah. People will get their mental health labeled as a disability to get accessibility for school or work, or maybe even like government support payments and things like that. Look, if that's the route he's angling for, it's none of my business. But if he is legitimately trying to improve himself, and that has been his language thus far, this kind of language is going to be devastating for him. I am defeat. Exactly, Panda Pondu. Yeah, that's pretty much what we're saying here. Oh, yeah, Nikki. We're getting to it. Yep. The disabled veteran thing. This is gonna trigger people. You would consider it similar to saying either the medical model of disability, which focuses on the person is the problem, versus the social model, which looks like at the barriers in society. And to clarify, I'm not at all saying this isn't disability. I'm just critiquing his language in the vein of his personal growth. You think he's just wording it very wrong. It's like if someone asked you which of your chronic illnesses is bothering you the most, calling them disabilities feels off. It does, to me too, yeah. Hey, Dexler. In sense, I get what you mean, Vera, but I feel like it might be like with depression, you can recover to a certain extent, but it'll always lurk in the back of your mind. Well, yeah, and that's what I've been saying. Like, for example, with my OCD, I'm not saying that it's gone, but it's not affecting my life anywhere near, actually at all, full stop, but it is still there. I have to manage it, and I have to keep on top of it. But it doesn't need to be to the point where I'm labeling it a disability, where I can't work or function or have relationships or, you know, any of the things that hold you back in life. If it's something that is damaging your life and it is something that can be managed with practice, I would err on the side of practice. But yeah, I agree. I don't think it ever really goes away. But to call it a disability feels like it's like, or in the way, sorry, to clarify, to call it a disability in the way that he just used it feels like he's just going, well, this is just who I am. I'm just going to be like this for the rest of my life. And that would be such a disservice for him to do. Yes. Like the eating conditions, they lurk forever, but you don't listen to them anymore. Exactly like that. Yes. Yeah.
Well, I think a big part of that is once you became aware of it, once it was brought up to you when you started stuff.
I didn't realize like how much it affected my life until I started working on myself, you know? Hey babe, can you mute yourself real quick? Okay, cool.
As you were saying?
So I'm guessing he got permission for something there? I don't know.
And something I also struggle with too is bipolar disorder. And that's its own beast.
Yes, it is. And for this, I did some research. Now, I'm not as well versed on the non-behavioral things. So when we're talking about bipolar and like schizophrenia and the real neurological things that can happen, it's not my wheelhouse. I'm all about behavior, in case you haven't picked that up, which is why OCD falls into that. But bipolar is actually considered a chronic condition that is going to be lifelong, right? You can't behave your way out of it. You can learn coping mechanisms and you can make sure that the medication is appropriate, but it is an entirely different thing than what we're talking about with OCD, for example. So I think it's really important to differentiate those two things. But to me, it feels like he is combining or seeing them all as the same. Nikki, I agree with you. I'm not saying that this is for everybody, but for me and clearly you. What were you saying? Where did you say it? Yes, this is why you reject diagnosis. Don't give it a label / power. So I feel the same way. I think it's different if you need to be medicated, then the label becomes important. But for me personally, and clearly for you as well, I find it more beneficial to learn how my brain is going to work, like analyze and work out what parts are hindering my life in some way, and then moving past those things and starting to practice the skills that will correct those things, right? And yeah, also I suppose if you need to have a diagnosis for like actual support for income and things like that, that's different as well. But like if it's not affecting any of those things, I agree. I don't personally need to seek the diagnosis.
To conquer.
It's
with mood swings and stuff.
It's something until recently, very recently, due to circumstances outside of our control.
Yeah. Bipolar and schizophrenia, they're considered an SMI in Connecticut, a serious mental illness. It's a completely different mechanism that's happening. It's not just the brain misinterpreting things. It's deeper than that. There's a whole host of things that fall under that are not behavioral. And although I get that when we're talking about PTSD and OCD, it is happening in the brain, so it's not necessarily an action that we're doing. What I mean by behavioral is you're able to train yourself out of it with correct support and therapy and potentially medication. Whereas schizophrenia, for example, you cannot train yourself out of, if that makes sense. You can't just practice your way out of schizophrenia. It does with those things become your responsibility to make sure you stay medicated, but it's a totally different thing. Yes, ADHD is another one, and so is autism. Not things you can just practice your way out of. You can develop coping mechanisms and you can develop ways to work around society that will help you actually do the things. But yeah, ADHD, we're talking about like it's a chemical thing going on. It's not just a thought process. Does that make sense? Yeah. Yeah. Hey, Asha, this is what I mean too. And people fall on one side or the other. I just mean for my personal life, I don't really care about the diagnosis. But yeah, your diagnosis helped you access the support you needed. You were struggling to function before getting the appropriate allied health supports. You're autistic with CPTSD. I always struggle with that. And some physical health diagnoses. Yeah, so that's what I mean. If you're needing the support, if you're needing the medication, if you're all of that, the diagnosis matters for sure. For sure. Yeah. Don't take anything that I'm saying about my own personal life as stuff that you should apply necessarily. You know you. Everybody, you do you. But yeah. Being diagnosed for OCD wouldn't help you. It would be an excuse for the behavior to go wild. For me too, personally speaking, yes. And like I was saying to you the other night, the only reason I have OCD as a diagnosis is because it happened when I was a minor. Still, I was a teenager. If I suspected it as an adult, I would just work through it.
We were trying really hard to hide the fact that basically he's also disabled.
Yeah.
Because of how I'm treated.
Yeah.
Now, see, this is what I think may have come into this conversation that I speculate has happened. Maybe you think I'm reading into this too much. Let me know. This is just what I see. How I see this potential conversation having played out would have been him laying out on the table what his concerns were, which, from what we've seen, were probably valid. What we would have then seen from her is probably like the quintessential Darvo shit, right? And there would have been the victim flip, and there would have been something along the lines I could see of, I've just been under so much stress because the trolls and the horrible people, what they've been doing to us. And then all of a sudden it becomes this us joining team. And the downside to a lot of the attention that she's been getting, I think, is that it's being used to drive them closer together, which is essentially a disservice for him ultimately. Well, how has she been treated though? She feeds the trolls. She is still feeding the trolls. She feeds the trolls at every opportunity she could possibly get. Even when the opportunity does not arise, she creates it. I said months ago, this is going to escalate from here because she keeps doing it. Shockingly, it's escalated. You don't address it. If things like this are happening to you as a creator, you don't address it publicly. He did, yeah. He told us about his bipolar at the very beginning. Has he ever been treated poorly for that? I don't think so. No, I don't think so. Not that I've seen, anyway. She's treated poorly because she's self-diagnosing and ruminating and refuses help. Yes. The refusing help is the important part there. You know why they did this now? Because he was on Reddit talking all about how much advanced he got out of being in the military and discharged for medical reasons. This is justification for boasting. Yeah, you're probably right. I haven't read all that yet. I will be, though. So did she just trigger us help on purpose? Yeah. There's a big victim mentality going on with her. Yes. Oh, you're right, Hilgoth. Now his disability is about how she's treated, and she's gonna spin, and you'll see how the connection is happening with the two of them.
And I wanted to protect him, but something has happened that we're not getting into for a while.
This is that his Reddit was released. Like I said, I haven't read it yet. I haven't read the Reddit. I haven't read the Reddit yet. But I will. And if it's relevant, we will definitely cover it.
And we're both
Well,
disabled, and it's
I've-
something that we're able to like relate on. You know.
I've come to a point in your lives now, babe, where I feel pretty comfortable to talk about this stuff.
I mean, at this point, what's there left to hide?
Yeah, exactly. And like, I want to be more open in your lives, and I want to talk about like mental illness with you.
So you see what I mean? This is a very different, it's a different energy. It's a different set of words than what we've seen from him prior. That's why I think that there has been a conversation or an argument or something. There was a catalyst that changed this. And I don't think it's just that Reddit was leaked, because Reddit's been leaked before. This is something that's happened between them, something that they've discussed. Why are you calling me out? Why could you not just let me the grace to just allow that to pass? Because, you know... For those listening, Panda Pondu just said, Vera, did you just realize what the name Reddit allegedly means? Stop it. I will neither deny nor confirm.
You and stuff, like, you know.
Can I tell them about the idea about what we want to follow up the Florida vlogs with? Can I tell them?
Sure.
We're going to be launching a little project that we're going to figure out and start. I have a workshop title and idea, but
I just want to pause her thought process there. Nikki sent me the thing. Why must it be so tiny? There we go. Joining the military, not because I wanted to serve, but because it was a way out of my toxic household. What I thought. Served for 3 years until I got diagnosed bipolar, got out with disability, and retained all my benefits. The military wasn't for me. I found out the hard way. Yes, well, I could have told him that. But now I'm getting paid to go to college with my GI Bill. I have access to free healthcare through the VA, and all my needs are being taken care of without me having to work. Tax-paying US nuggets, how does this make you feel? I'm only 25 and technically already retired. I can still find a job somewhere if I wanted. Nikki. I was not prepared for spontaneous rage. But I wanted to focus on school, not to mention military discounts from stores/restaurants that offer it, and good deals on Veterans Day. If I hadn't joined, I'd probably be dead in a ditch somewhere. I'm very grateful to be where I am in life right now. Happiest I've ever been. Stupid shit. Yes, coming out of his mouth. Okay. In Australia, if you get disability benefits, it's because you can't work. I know that that's not how this works in the US. I'm so sorry if anyone's triggered by this. That's a lot. Oh, Blue Falcon. As a veteran, this is embarrassing. Because you want this to be there, right? You want this to be there for people who have served, who have essentially traded their body and possibly their brain in service for their country. And if they've come out the other side worse off, you want this to be there for them. You really do. But as far as I know, Tans, as an Australian, you're offended. But as far as I know, this man did not see active duty, right? And I know that things can still happen in training, or, you know, if you're sent off base or something like that, things can still happen. But the way this reads, and maybe there's more to it that he didn't say, but the way this reads, it looks like he's getting disability for his bipolar after having served in the military when bipolar could not have been caused by the military. The OCD could have been. That would be different, but the bipolar? That would have been something that he's always had. He didn't serve? It's a whole other conversation. Look, I don't want to speak out of turn. I am barely qualified to be able to speak on the Australian system, let alone the US one. But here's what I've seen, and here's what confuses me. I don't want to get too sidetracked because there's still quite a bit to go through. But what I've seen out of the US system is like, I've seen so many financial audit episodes where it's kind of like this, right? You've got someone who's never seen active duty and they claim basically everything that they can possibly claim, whether it's knees, back, PTSD, you know, depression, whatever they can claim, they claim it. And they wind up getting so much money every month for never having seen active duty, right? And then I also see in the US veterans who clearly needed help not getting the help they need. And I find it difficult to, like, not living in the country, not knowing enough about it. I find it difficult to put those two thoughts together. I was not prepared for spontaneous rage, Vera. Do you realize how cool what you said was? Nikki just over here throwing curveballs at me. Yes. And we're going to get to this. We are jumping ahead. Nikki, spoilers. Your issue using Rosie using disabled veteran as a shield against criticism, a bitch in her belt of oppression. And that's the thing. I think that we can all agree that there is a difference between a disabled veteran, right, who absolutely deserves to be supported by their country, and a veteran who also happens to have a disability, which is essentially what we're talking about here, unless he left out context. And I don't know. Look, I'm not American. I don't have really a right to have an opinion on this. I do have some feelings. Just some feelings going on. Yeah. Hello, Azul. Hello, Sherbet. Hello. You're processing things again in real time. I wonder how often we do this, Nikki, because I listen to your streams to research for my own channel. Not that I'm listening to your opinions, but I just find it a lot more tolerable when you're involved in the whole thing rather than listening to it raw. And then afterwards I cover it and now you're reflecting back. I don't know, it's interesting. This stream was a clucking mess. I never felt this frustrated with Roz. No. And I also personally am feeling a frustration level with Remily as well. And I do think it's important to really still hold those two things. Like, I don't think he's in an ideal situation. I really don't. The man is about to say some stupid shit. And I don't just mean in the stream that we're covering now. I mean in the coming months, there is some stupid shit coming. Mark my words. Dude is emboldened and needs to be humbled, unfortunately. Which is not really his fault, but it's gonna happen. This ultimately led to my discharge from the Navy, but I didn't care. If anything, that's what I wanted, to escape that harsh environment and adopt a much slower change in pace. Pretty much. Yeah. Not a Zoom meeting, Lucy. No, tell them important things are happening with some chuckin living in Australia you need to listen to. Yeah, okay, shall we keep going? You're all gonna get a lot madder than you are right now. Yeah, let's keep going.
At least until we're physically together, we're gonna figure out how to virtually record, and I'm just gonna say it. We're launching a podcast on my YouTube channel, like a video podcast.
And this is why I think dopamine's been involved. Damn dopamine. Getting them into trouble. Planning phase has been achieved. And look, I'm just gonna say, because they're all floating very much around my wheelhouse, I am here for a mental health podcast. Bring it. I will react to it.
The first video is going to be Lee's story, and then we have things we want to go into from there, and it's going to be pre-recorded. And so one of the things he's journaling about is like the stuff we're going to talk about, because I'm just gonna fuck it. I'm just gonna go into it. I'm gonna talk about why we're doing this.
No, just be quiet for a moment. Okay, so here's what I will say. Like I highlighted earlier, I was actually the same age as Remily is now when I started my journey. I am having trouble doing math. That's what I'm doing. What, like 20? No, 15. 15 years? Can someone fact check my math? 14 years? Coming up on 15 years. Yeah. Down the track. Can I just say, I don't know that that's a good idea. I'm here talking about all this on my channel. It is a large part of my channel, and there has been people that I've helped just by talking about my journey, whether it's just making people not feel as alone or whether you can benefit from things that I've learned and things like that. But it's also been quite cathartic for me too. I've also been growing and improving through the duration of my channel's existence. Had I have done it at 26? No, I'm sorry to say, I think I would have been a lol cow by now. I really do. There's some embarrassing shit you've got to go through while you're growing. I don't know that I wanted mine on the internet. I'm glad it wasn't, you know? Lily, thank you so much for gifting a membership, and Not Spy Kaylee got it. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Can we get some juicy peaches and or chicken butts in the chat for Lily? Thank you. Yeah. I don't think it's a good idea. I don't think it's good timing. I don't think Roz is a good partner to be doing it with. You need to be very okay with people having opinions about your situation and the level of strength that takes. I wouldn't want my 26-year-old self doing that. Do you get what I mean? It's concerning. You woke up to say thank you. Yay, Not Spy Kaylee. Go back to sleep.
How it came to be. Is that cool? Okay. As y'all know, a long time ago, Lee's Reddit got leaked. And what I never told the public, what I've known about since we met, since actually before the first leak, because we had enough conversations, because I learned from what all these other weirdos be doing on the internet, that like I needed to know what his digital footprint was like in full transparency. I've known about both Reddit since before the internet knew.
Yeah, Bella. She's throwing him to the wolves, and there's no other way around it. He's being an idiot, and he's definitely unlikable, but she's bringing him to an audience of haters for her benefit. Yep. You should have a reaction channel, Bella. You say the good things.
About the first. One of them was made when he was a minor, by the way, assholes. And
what? Juicy peaches or bitchy juices? Juice. Are you gaslighting me? Did I say that? I don't know. Panda Pondu is not letting me catch a break tonight. Yes, these two have a really unhealthy feedback loop of victimhood going. They really do. And something has just solidified it. I'm telling you, something happened that has solidified this, and it's not the Reddit leaks. Who just said you can't leak something that's public because that? Yeah. Oh, you do? You have a few videos recorded, but you're not quite there yet with what you want to share. I love it. Please tell me when you do. I want to know.
And has a lot of information that was just someone looking for community and a place to get information as they process things in real time, which may not always have full context. And there are some of those things we're never going to fucking address or talk about. But everything that's on there at this point, there's no reason for us to not talk about these things anymore, because the only thing it does is hide aspects that we would like our supporters to know about, that the people that fucking hate us already know.
Okay, there's a way to do this without feeding the trolls. Like, she's just gone and said, because you trolls have gone and done what you do, I'm acknowledging that you've done what you do, and now because of you, we're going to take an action that otherwise, but for you, we wouldn't have done. What more could trolls want? Like, that is that not the perfect scenario for them? Every single turn she's feeding them. She has been online long enough to know that she's feeding them. I have to conclude that she likes feeding them. But she's going to drag him into it too. She's already dragging him into it. She never protected him from the get-go. She wanted to run her own agenda. And now he's this deep.
So that's something where essentially, like, fuck this bullshit. We're taking our power back and we're like,
sorry, that's not our internet, that's hers.
Watching a podcast, and I want Lee to have the ability to share his story. And the craziest part is, this wasn't my idea, this was his idea.
It was.
Okay, I could see both scenarios where it was legitimately his idea and where the idea was incepted. I don't know which one, but I think both are a possibility.
Which shook me.
And you know who inspired this idea?
Who?
You. Because you talk about your story all the time. It makes me want to talk about mine.
I hate that face she gets when he does the right thing. This is like positive reinforcement. Yeah, that's true. We've had his Reddit since end of January. It wasn't damning and it was mostly ignored. Yeah. I enjoyed it, but yeah. No, it really was. It was a blip on the radar. The reason it's becoming interesting now is because of their dynamic. Yeah. Yeah. You wanted to make a video breaking down the science behind Amber's shelf. It's one of the wonders of Girl World. You know, how would one break down the science? I'm interested. Yeah, she knows exactly what she's doing. The bitch is just cashing him in. I was trying to think of a chicken pun. I couldn't. I failed. It's sinister. We are all going to have to walk the line where he is going to do some bad stuff coming up. I do just want to leave room, just in case it is coming from a coercive control perspective. And I don't at all want that to come off as me removing any responsibility for his actions that he's going to do, because I'm not, and I think he's going to need to stand up to it, up to all of the criticism, but I feel like we're going to need to walk that tricky line, and it is going to be a tricky line to walk. There is a point where he could do something that is pushing him way in the other direction, where I no longer want to hold that line, but yeah, for now, I don't know. It's going to be a hard job that we all have, put it that way.
You know?
I love you.
Yeah, I'm excited.
I love you.
I love you too. Whole bunches.
Lily Moon, cease your shenaniganizing. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Very generous. Seriously. Sometimes you wonder if we have it wrong and he's using her to gain something, like a podcast where he gets an instant audience. I hope that's the case. I really do. Seriously, because a few people have brought that up. I hope that's the case. Then he's not a victim in this situation. Hopefully we are wrong. That's what I have to say about that. And I'm really happy to be wrong on these things. Like, seriously, happy to be wrong on these things. I would rather get up here and just be analyzing two shit people doing shit things to the world than what this could be. But yeah. It's hard to say from this standpoint right now. But I would rather be wrong about him being a victim than I would be wrong about him just doing it for attention. Do you get what I mean? If he was legitimately a victim and I got up on my platform saying to everyone, oh, he's just shit, he just wants all the attention, he's just in it for the money, and then it turns out that he is horrifically abused, I can't sleep with myself for that. So I'll take the opposite approach. Because I need to be able to sleep at night, my nuggets.
No, guys, honestly, I haven't edited at all in like multiple days because I've just been trying to survive my days. I'm just going to be, I'm not going into great detail, but just like this week has been hell. It's been hell.
Can I tell you something funny? I twerked my back. Oh no. I did. The hurt back is not the funny bit. The twerking of the back is the funny bit. I counted in her last stream, she brought up her back, her knee problems 14 different times in a single live stream. I feel like I could milk this somehow, but I'm not gonna. Twerked. She talked her knee, but she called it twerking her knee. Yeah, I know, it's not funny. It's sending like sciatic nerve pain shooting down my leg. It's not very fun. But yeah, no, I just thought it was funny timing because she just twerked her knee.
And I've just been trying to get through my days right now. It will end. It will get less hellish. I will get back to editing. I cannot express how much hell I've been going through, and I am not sharing all of the details.
Also, something I want to say too is like, I've reached a point in my life where I've been hiding a lot just over the past, decade. And I'm kind of sick of it. I'm tired of hiding. I'm tired of holding myself back. I've just reached a point where I just want to get my story out there, and I want to be able to talk about myself and, you know, my disabilities and stuff like that. And it's not easy at all. In fact, it's very scary. But, you know, I feel like I can do it scared, and I can do hard things.
My nuggets. I practically yelled across the caravan at Mr. Chuggin when I heard that. It scared the shit out of him. This makes me suspect that he's been listening to me. Now, it is a coincidence right now. It is only one thing. But he just said, I can do it scared. And this is, by the way, not me getting excited when people might be listening to me. It's a joke with Rachel. I don't want him listening to this. This is not for him. Mr. Chuggin had to do it scared. I really did. I yelled out. Anyway, why this is significant. So you've probably heard me say do it scared quite a bit. The reason for that is this is part of a larger mantra that I built for myself while I was going through my journey. Because being dealing with OCD, dealing with past trauma, dealing with my mother having programmed me to be scared of everything at all times, a lot of the time I just had to do things scared. And as I was discussing earlier, that's part of the practicing the new skill, right? You practice doing things and eventually you get past the fear. Now, that Roz had be scared and do it anyway. She took it from Instagram. It could be a coincidence, but let me just say this, because if I find out that there's more things, that is specifically my mantra. Now, it is part of a larger mantra where I say, do it scared, do it uncomfortable, do it until. Sometimes I will also add in do it tired, depending on the situation. And because in my experience, getting through things, I felt like I was waiting to not be scared to do things, or I was waiting to not be tired, or, you can't wait. Well, in my experience, you can't wait for those things. You need to do them in order for those things to come. It's a backwards way of thinking, right? To wait for doing it scared. So maybe it's a coincidence. But my goodness, did it prick my ears up. So I'm now sus on this whole situation. Either way, she didn't think of it. Yes. So, look, I don't know. I found the phrasing. It's possible that, look, it's a simple phrase. It is possible that multiple people have thought of it. Like multiple people at the same time thought of calling him Remily. I totally thought I came up with that. Turns out there were a few of us at the same time that came up with that. But it did prick my ears just because I know I didn't get it from a book. I didn't get it from a therapist. It's my mantra that maybe I made it up, maybe Mr. Tunga did, but anyway, it originated in my household. So it caught my attention, is my point. So now I will be paying attention to other things, but yeah. Coincidence for now. I hope he's not listening. I really do. None of these people should be listening to videos about them, even though I think I've been one of the softer channels to him. Yeah. Oh, really, Iris? Your mantra really helped me. Every time I go to a theme park, I try to go on the worst roller coaster you can find, even though you're terrified. Iris. I love that and hate that at the same time. I hate roller coasters. Maybe I should do that next time I'm at a theme park. I love that. I love it. I just think it's so, yeah, just do it, right? Actually, I think where it may have really come from, or where it stemmed from, like originally, was the Shia LaBeouf, that just do it, yeah. And from there, just clucking do the thing came from that as well. But yeah, it's a thing, and it is one of my catchphrases on my channel. But there's meaning to it.
Hell yeah, you can. The amount that you have changed since the day we met is so inspiring.
Yeah. How so?
You were so meek and timid and shy and just struggled so much with confidence. Like it was like almost non-existent, but like I saw.
Yeah.
Let me just finish that sentence for her. And because of me, you've managed to get past all of those things in just 6 months. Isn't that amazing? Seriously.
I saw something inside you that was like dying to get out, and like, and I think that was partially like why you reached out to me, which is like,
yeah, and that's what I thought too. That he saw something in her from that podcast that he wanted to exhibit himself, yeah. I hate that. I hate that so much. Do you know how clucking long it takes you to do a 180 on, like, your entire outlook on life? Do you know how much effort that takes? Oh no, but Roz can just magically make it happen within 6 months just from being in her presence. Absolutely not. Anybody out there who's actually working on themselves and really putting in that kind of effort, don't feel bad when people do this where they want to insinuate it's only going to take a few months. It's just, that is not realistic. If you're taking longer than that, that is appropriate.
When I was so vague about he's also we're both Cancer moons, Pikachu.
Nobody cares.
Part of what's so, I think, beautiful to me about like the way he reached out to me and stuff is in our own ways.
I'm so sorry. I know I edited this. I know that I've heard this, but these words are pissing me off on a level that didn't hit earlier. One of the most beautiful things about reaching out to me so that I could help him into being the best him he could possibly be, I did all of that. It's all because he saw me on that podcast. Just no.
We each have had experiences in our lives that help us relate to each other in a way that is very, very like deep.
Yeah.
Deep in 6 months. I just, no.
Yeah.
And you have survived a lot. You're a disabled veteran, but...
Okay, yep. That's the part that Nikki was ranting about earlier that I said we were getting to. So she's saying disabled veteran, and I almost wonder, you know, if I'm right about this conversation having happened, I almost wonder if she was able to turn it around to like, well, if you just came on my channel and did these things and said these things and we come at it from this perspective together, you know, it's... Yes, he is a veteran, and yes, he has disabilities. To put those two words together for this particular man makes me very uncomfortable. Once again, I have no right to be uncomfortable about this. I'm not even American, but I know how this is going to affect people. I know that there's people out there who went through hell during their years of service and have come out in a very different body than they went in, or potentially in a very different mind than what they went in with. It does feel like stolen valor. Valor is, who came up with the right word? Hang on, no, appropriation. It's like disability appropriation. That's right. Sorry, I've forgotten who said that because I was trying to think. Valor is the wrong word for this, but yeah, it is an appropriation of some description. It's going to backfire massively. And this is where my patience with him starts to thin. But then I get very conflicted within myself because I also want to give him space to grow. And these two things are really butting heads at the moment. So know that this mother clucker is very, very conflicted. He's not a combat veteran. No, he's not. And honestly, even if he had have said that this is about the OCD and that's where he got the OCD, I feel like I would be able to work with that more. But he's talking about the bipolar. So yes, I think you've survived a lot, followed by disabled veteran paints a very particular image. Yes. I don't know. I don't like this. I really don't. It's not appropriate for this case. No, it's not. It's minimizing what the other people have gone through. And some of it is really, really brutal stuff. Some of it is stuff that these two particular people in question would not come back from. You know? It's not okay. Yes, you're thinking this is going to be another her deliberately misusing gang stalking and saying that's what it means to me by putting those words together. I think you're right, soft signal. I think that's exactly what's going to go on here. No, he didn't. He didn't see combat, as far as we know. He's not telling us he saw combat, at least. Are there records for that in America? Like, is this public, this kind of thing? Yeah, he did. He said before he was discharged due to medical, it was because of the bipolar. He would have said he had a disability and he would have said he was a vet, but I wonder if he ever said disabled veteran specifically. We haven't heard him say it, she's saying it. Although, no, hang on. Coming back to Nikki. I served for 3 years until I got diagnosed bipolar. I got out with disability. So it's not the same as saying disabled veteran though, is it? And retained all my benefits. So she is spinning that. You okay, Cramblings? Scar mentioned he didn't finish school, so he wouldn't have been deployed. Oh, okay. Oh, also, Prez, thank you for bringing that to my attention. So apparently Scar has covered this, and as I've heard, correct me if I'm wrong, but Scar is a vet. So she has some insight. From my understanding, I haven't watched it yet, but I'd be interested too. He nodded along in agreement and said, yeah, when she accused people of bullying a disabled vet, yes. Well, we can't see the nodding, but he did agree, yeah. Yeah, and retained all my benefits really rubs me some kind of way. I agree with you, Prez. Yeah. Okay, so you could do Freedom of Information Act request. Yeah, technically, well, he is a veteran, yes, technically, because he did serve. And he's disabled, but the military didn't disable him. Yes, he did not get the disability while he was in the military. He was not harmed by the military, or at least not that he's telling us. Which is the term, which is what the term disabled veteran makes us think of. Exactly. Yep. Thank you, Cramblings. Yeah, definitely go check out Scar Letter. I'm gonna be checking that video out myself. Oh, Scar is also a medically discharged young person, I believe, so has some insight. Yeah. Much better than I can talk about the US military for sure. A very careful choice of words with his separation from the military. It is. Yeah, I don't love it.
What happened before you even joined the military in your life was shitty. And you survived that, and you struggled to figure out how to find yourself. And it was only like within like a year before we met that things like you really started shaping yourself, and you're still in that process.
She's speaking to him about this as though she's someone that's gone through this. As though she's not the hot mess sitting here in front of us who grifts on the internet for a living and is slowly unaliving herself, like, in front of everybody's eyes. She sits there on her little pedestal, spouting what she perceives as wisdom, and she has no idea what it's like to be an adult, to be a contributing member of society.
And I just love being a part of seeing how, like, you know, it was so not native to you, like being a part of all of this, putting yourself out there. Like when we met, you being like, I don't even know if I want my face on the internet, to like where we are today, you know, it's like, just like watching that.
Yeah, I mean, thank you so much. Scar brings up great points, even if she is blind. I heard that somewhere. But it's okay, because I bet Charlie helps her see because she fits in Scar's pocket. Thank you, Yummy. I appreciate you. Yeah, it was actually LV was checking out the video, and apparently there is some really insightful information in the video. I definitely want to check it out. So yeah, please go send Scar some love. I've watched a couple of her videos. She's very entertaining. When it really wasn't that at all, she made it sound like she was in some sort of version of Taken, and it seems like she's grooming him to invent exaggerated experiences to share their fans. I agree. Yeah. You think you think that this is why I believe out of all of the girls, Roz makes me the most uneasy. I agree. I think she's the worst. And that's saying something, because that group of people has done some stuff.
That journey, like, authentically unfolds past the societal shame put on us for things out of our control. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Y'all have really brought the best out in each other. I believe that wholeheartedly.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, like you have changed a lot yourself, babe. Like,
I'm still waiting to see where this change is. When did I start covering Roz? Was it in April? Was it earlier? I did a couple here and there before that. No, it must have been earlier. I've been here for the duration of this relationship. Yeah, no, that's when I would have started covering her. So, where's the change? Where? Please show the change. I want to celebrate the change. If I could see it, I would. Hello, be like, what a baby! I am. She's actually the most unhanded. I agree. Yeah. You just spread the truth, Yummy. Yeah, that sounds right. She's gotten worse. Well, like, point to the change. Like, seriously, if she's talked about all this growth, I want to hear actual tangible examples of where this growth has happened. Nikki, my brain was thinking it, and then my brain went, no, that's not this kind of channel. I'm not going to say it. But then you went and said it. My goodness. Lily, thank you so much for gifting another 5 memberships. Congratulations to everyone who just got gifted a membership. Can we get some chicken butts or juicy peaches in the chat for Lily? Thank you. Also, anyone who's been gifted memberships, don't forget there is a Discord. If you link your account, your YouTube account to Discord, or if you have trouble linking, just send me a DM. I'll get you in there. I'm Vera the Chucken everywhere. And there's also a bunch of members-only streams that we've done. You'll say it for me. You don't give a cluck. But yeah, no, seriously, she talks about all this growth. Please point to growth in a way that I can measure it, and I will celebrate said growth. I will, but I cannot see the growth. How many times have I said growth in this? Amber and Foodie are visibly transparent and vary themselves in their stupidity, but Roz is very sharp. Oh, she's sharp. She's practiced. And has never-ending layers and the means to use her brain to break someone at her will. Yeah, I don't think intelligence is part of it, though. I do agree with you, but I think it's just practice. That's all. She's skilled at this. In all seriousness, right now, her emotional regulation has deteriorated. Well, this is what I'm seeing, too. I don't see improvement, personally. She's changed for the worse and grown more intolerable. Well, this is not growth. Nikki, it's not just you. Be like, what a baby also. I'm not saying these things. No. I mean, clearly, but that side by side from 2024 that Nikki did. All the girls grow in volume. But Vera, you can totally see her growth. She got a new weed bump, don't you know? Yeah, I think that's true. She's become more reactive. It's because she's leaning into being a girl. Yeah, she talks about us trying to fit her into the blueprint. She's fitting herself into the blueprint. Apparently not. She's never mentioned her period. Apparently it's just very sporadic, which I would expect given this physique.
Every single day, I see you push yourself. You have such like a ferocious tenacity
Thoroughly disagree, sir.
about you. That's like I'm not trying to get like
Tenacity or just stubborn, I think, is probably more the point.
like all mushy or anything,
No.
but like
Mush away.
Oh my god, it's about me. You can keep talking about me.
it's just it is you inspire me to be my best self every.
But do you hear the attitude shift though? From the last live that we did like a few days ago, where she was fully overriding everything and he was clearly getting upset with it. And then what we watched at the top of this stream, which was a different live that she did, and there was still that, like, putting him down. This is very different. This vibe, something's happened. I'm telling you, something happened. And now they're bonded much closer.
Every day, you know, get out of bed in the morning, when you go make yourself something to eat, you know, just a daily task.
Getting up and getting oneself something to eat is voracious tenacity. I do understand. I know what it's like. I know many of you know what it's like. You know, to struggle to just get out of bed and achieve anything for the day, whether it's because of physical things holding you back or whether it's mental things holding you back. I am with you where I know what that feels like. And I'm thinking, well, did he not say voracious? Did I say voracious? Did he say ferocious? I don't know. Whatever was said. You get what I mean. But like I could see admiring someone for the things that they've achieved in their life. I could really see that. You know, like we just in this chat, we have some amazing people who have achieved some incredible things in their lives, and I would admire you all for that. But would getting up and getting breakfast be on that list of things that you would admire somebody for? Even when you're at your worst, I feel like you're looking at that and going, well, that's normal. That's kind of what I'm aiming for, you know? I don't know. It was a choice that where he went there. That was curious.
You know, that I would find difficult to do on my own have been made easier now because I know you.
For the average person, those
Thanks,
types of
Maria.
things are second nature, but
Nikki pops up from time to time.
not only do I have like my own disability stuff, but I also have like my mobility issues on top of it. I don't want to get into that. Trying to push through and work on those things and not.
Oh my god. It's
I
never
can't go
happening.
too in depth on that topic, but what I will say is
What shits me about this, she goes on about this in this live stream where she'll talk about something obliquely and then she will say, I can't talk about it in detail, or I don't want to talk about that. Then don't talk about it at all. Don't bring it up. Don't even reference it obliquely. I've said many a time that there are bits and pieces of my history that I don't want to talk about. I have not alluded to what they are. They're not my story, some of them are not appropriate. But when I'm talking about the trauma, when I'm taking you through my experience, I just don't talk about them, right? So she does this consistently, where it's like baiting, right? And I hate being baited in conversations where, you know, people will go, oh, that was such a rough one, and then there's just nothing, and then they just stop talking because they're clearly waiting for you to go, what happened? I hate being baited like that. It's like, just, if you want to tell me something, just tell me the thing. I don't want to get into this game, this social game of back and forth. But that's what she's doing, and that's what she's doing with her trolls, right? Because I think that's who it's aimed at, so that they will start digging into things and bring things up, and then there's more drama, and then she has more things to talk about and bitch about, and, you know, all of that sort of thing. It's a cycle. Oh, yeah. 30% of US nerve pain, so nowhere else in the world, is due to diabetes. I went down a rabbit hole of diabetic neuropathy. Maybe we need to do a stream on that. It is fascinating, firstly. Secondly, horrifying. But it is amazing how many of her sorry. Oh, Vera, don't ask. Big sigh. I'm ignoring you, Truma. I forgot what I was saying. Oh no, I'm tired. I'm so sorry. What were we just talking about? No, it's fully gone. I have no idea what I was talking about. I'm so sorry. It's Truma's fault. He's totally bought into her martyrdom. He has. I agree with you. It's not the support of a partner. It's way more insidious. I agree. Like I say, he's going to make our job of being objective very difficult in the coming months. Mark my words. Tenacity. You're forgiven. Diabetic neuropathy. Yes. Okay, so thank you. Oh, both of you, Lee as well. Thank you. Yes, so many of her symptoms actually fit that. Like the quote fibro hands and things like that. Everything she describes does align with diabetic neuropathy. Granted, it does overlap with some other things as well, but it is astounding to go down that rabbit hole with Roz in mind. You were talking about how fluffy I am. You are very fluffy, right? Pandas are very fluffy. No problem, Bella.
I'm grateful to have someone like you to see the headway that I'm making behind the scenes.
Oh, sorry. Not Jethro Tull. This switch from cane sugar to corn syrup caused the diabetes epidemic. Did you know that high fructose corn syrup is not legal in Australia? You can't find it in anything. It's not okay. And as far as I know, if things are imported, I think there's special guidelines that they need to adhere to. It's bad.
Lavina said, that's so T, Rosie. The offline stuff is huge and we don't get a full picture. Exactly. All I'm going to say is this time next year, mark your calendars.
Yeah.
I think they're going to move in. I think he's going to be finishing his degree because we know that he's just been on a break, which would indicate the end of a semester or a trimester or whatever he's dealing with. I think she's alluding to the moving in. You heard your girls in the background? Yeah. I edited out a couple of Millie barks, not gonna lie. Hope you don't mind. You wish it was illegal here too. It's staggering. Sorry, I get overexcited about some of these nutritional things. The addiction studies with high fructose corn syrup, like sugar in and of itself has its own set of issues, but high fructose corn syrup is a whole other thing. It's astounding.
That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah, going back to mental illness and disabilities and stuff.
Yes.
Right.
Bipolar 2 is...
Nikki, right as you're like, everyone applaud Vera for editing me out. I talk a lot, and then Nikki's like, right?
Something else that I struggle with as well. It's probably... It's my second biggest disability. It's actually the disability I got out of the Navy for. Seeing Rosie get so much support, like, it helps my mental health too, because, you know, I hate to keep bringing up trolls and haters, but like...
See that?
I don't like seeing bad things being said about my girl. Yeah.
They're bonding over that. She is reinforcing that. Look at what's happening to us. It's just us, and then there's everybody else attacking us. We need to stand together. That's what's happening here. This, I think, is basically the foundation of her manipulation tactics. It's, yeah. Oh, I know. Yeah, the clicking, it's Roz being annoying. And I cannot edit it out, even though I may have tried. Yeah, she's isolating him, and why we need to keep in mind that this is still potentially a coercive, controlling relationship. He wouldn't realize that yet, and he won't probably for quite some time. But when he does, yeah, it's not good. Us against the world manipulation, yeah. Actually, my mother also used to do that. Actually, now that I think of it, a lot of the tactics Roz employs, my mother also did. The difference with me was that because mine was a parental coercive controlling relationship, not a relationship one, it was from when I was born. So it's all I ever knew. And I think that was really, really challenging to be able to see that the world was not the way it was constructed around me. And he at least kind of has the benefit of having known a world outside, but then it kind of sounds like his mother or something in his childhood was bad too, so who knows? Who knows how deep this goes?
You know, like, I love you, baby.
I love you, baby. I miss you.
Well, do you want to start bringing this live to a close?
Yeah. I mean, I've got a little more time before we hit an hour.
She still didn't read. He's done. He wants to be finished. He's trying to do it in a positive way, and she's still like, yeah, no, we still got more time.
Less than 5 minutes.
Okay.
I've enjoyed this conversation, and, you know, ultimately,
Yeah.
I just feel like a big part of, like, we were keeping a lot of things, like, close to the breast just because, like, or close to the sternum, whatever you want to say, because, like, I want to protect him.
Not once have you ever protected him. You had a social responsibility to protect him, and you didn't. You would rather run your agenda and let the entire internet know that there is a man out there that thinks you're sexy. That's what you wanted more. Lily, thank you so much. Thank you. What do you think her brother thinks of all this? Actually, that's an interesting question. I don't know Levi well enough, but I've kind of wondered what he thought about, like, Remy visiting and things like that. And if they're gonna move in together, you know, does that mean Levi has to leave? I don't know. I really don't. I kind of, the visual that I've got of Levi, because it's such limited information, I almost have this kind of dude who's just so chill running his own life that he's just focused on that. And I almost feel like there's a lot being, like, not registering for him, but I don't know. I really don't. It is a good question, though. I do think about it. Hearing he gets disability from the VA is really disgusting. She'll marry him and abuse the healthcare. Oh, I didn't think of that. Okay, question. Do his benefits extend to his spouse? Spouse? Will she get healthcare if she's married to him? Roz will not be here in 3 years, let alone 5, if her boyfriend can't bring up his concerns around her health. And that is a very valid topic for a partner to bring up, right? Is Remy hanging in there as her make-a-wish, and feed his moral OCD, give her a good couple years, well, that would fit with his want to help people and save people too, wouldn't it? So do you not think he's attracted to her at all? Do you think that's not part of this? You feel like Levi is mostly just stressed from the change in routine? You're probably right. Yeah. Yeah, interesting. The spooce caboose. He does. So he will, she will, sorry, get the benefits. Oh. Mutually beneficial. He gets to continue his, quote, retirement. I hate that. Dude, don't use that word. He gets to continue his, quote, retirement because she's bringing in money from just doing vlogs and lives, and she gets to have his health care. Maybe this is more like Emily and Amber. Maybe it's more like just, I don't know, they're both toxic and they're entertaining each other. I don't know. I don't know though. I say that about Emily because she's lived an entire life. She's been married, she's had a career, she's had a kid, there's life that's been lived. Remily has not lived his life yet. So I can't say that yet. Sorry if that disappoints anyone. I need to give him more of a chance first. Yes, if his disability score was high enough, like he said they were. Ugh. Hey, tax-paying nuggets, US nuggets, how you feeling about this? That's what you're working so hard to do for people like that. Gross.
Yeah.
It's insane that like an account that was deleted like over half a year ago was able to somehow be recovered. The internet is forever, that's a fact. There's nothing scandalous in it.
No.
It is just people being invasive, and
then why address it at all? Feeding the trolls. She wants to feed the trolls. She understands that cause and effect relationship that they have.
Exploiting someone who, correct me if I'm wrong, but based on our conversations, someone who felt lonely and was looking for community and looking for an outlet to understand and process personal matters in their life, which is how a lot of people use Reddit.
Absolutely.
And I'm going to say it again, his only crime here is loving me. Him loving me is causing people to dig into his trauma, dig into his personal life, talk about his unconfirmed diagnoses.
I have to correct that language. No. The reason people are digging in to him is because you wanted to be claimed on the internet. It's because you gave out enough information in order for him to be doxxed, and you did that knowingly because not only has it happened to people in your life before, but you've also seen other people in the space have it happen to them. I was floored, by the way, when all of that Amber and Erica and Brittany stuff went on. They found her just by her first name. Phenomenal work, insane work. But does that not prove to you how careful you need to be if you're one of the girls? Right? She knew full well. That's why he's being dug into, because of your actions, not because he loves you. Whoever said anything negative about those posts, though, how is he being exploited based off the Reddit posts? And also, does he not see that Rose is not getting criticized because she's disabled? I don't know. I don't know. Like I said, I haven't read them yet, but if they're anything like the first round, yeah. Yes, she's so specific and manipulative with her language, and it's disgusting and irritating. She is very good at the manipulation game. She's so good at it, sometimes I think she's doing it subconsciously. Sometimes I think that. He's opportunistic, he could be. There's some evidence leaning that way. OM? I'm trying to think who that is. Was doxxed in like 5 minutes from a name and a crudely drawn picture from Foodie.
That are obviously now confirmed. And dig into his military history and call him horrible things because he's a disabled veteran.
Yep.
He is a disabled veteran, and I have been...
He did agree with that. So he did basically confirm what she just said. I'm not a fan of these particular two words put together in this particular order when talking about this particular individual. This gives me, oh, old mate, gotcha. Yeah, I know who you're talking about. Yeah, I don't like this. I'm not going to excuse this behavior. I think that this is, well, you know what they're trying to do. Basically, they're just chucking up a shield. Oh, sorry, I think Nikki said that earlier. Yeah, chucking up a shield to say, well, no, actually, we're untouchable, which means we can do anything we possibly want to do. We can say anything. And if you criticize us or if you come at us in any way, well, you're coming at a disabled veteran. She thinks it's a get out of jail free card and not at all factoring that the rest of the world is just going to go no and continue on anyway.
I have not said that before today out of respect for him and his safety and his privacy. But people have been giving him labels and shit that they throw at me without any other context than some Reddit posts talking about his experience living in the military where he was honorably discharged. There's nothing to...
Is that the right term? I know that honorably discharged is a thing, but is it the right term for this? Because he said he was discharged with disability. Is there a separate term for that, or is that correct? Legitimate question, by the way. I'm not being sassy. It is correct. He's 26. What combat would he have actively fought in? I'm sure lots of folks here have had friends die or come back severely damaged from fighting in Iraq and Afghanistan. That's it, isn't it? Look, I do know, speaking from people that I know, I am aware that just being in the environment of being in the military for some people can be really bad for their mental health. And that is aside from active duty. I don't think those people are labeling themselves disabled veterans. Oh, maybe they are. I don't know. It is correct? Yep. Okay, cool. Yeah. Oh, you don't know the details of his separation. Yeah, see, we can only go off these bits and pieces of information. No, that's as far as we know. If you're wrong about him not seeing combat, please call me out. That seems to be everybody's on the same page. At least, put it this way, computer, he's not putting forward that he saw combat. He's not. But yeah, exactly. He had a pre-existing condition. This is bipolar. He will have had it before the military. Like I said, the military could have had the potential to cause OCD. That could have been a valid thing that he could have said. But bipolar, that would have been pre-existing. That's not, like, you might discover it spontaneously, but generally speaking, it does not spontaneously appear itself. But the OCD can be caused by trauma, so that would have made sense. But anyway, yeah.
Nefarious to look at, and they're making up insane shit because...
Yeah, that's valid too, Nikki. He said the PTSD was from his childhood, so it was also pre-existing. Although not to say that you can't get new PTSD for new situations, but yeah, that is what he said. Just going off the things that he said, it doesn't sound right. No, he didn't enter with a known diagnosis. So the way he spun it is he discovered that he had bipolar while he was in the military. But what I'm saying is being in the military will not have caused the bipolar, right? So the bipolar would have been there before. Why is the military paying out for a disability that was there before that they didn't cause? So it's not like, oh, we accidentally broke this soldier who was in our service, you know, and so now we want to support them for the rest of their lives. No, this was, so it was missed, right? I don't know. I don't like any of it, honestly. predispositioned. Yes. He probably just didn't know what was going on, because like having mental health things, it can manifest in weird ways sometimes you think it's just you, or you're not dealing with something properly, and especially when there's comorbidity going on with other things. Like if he is correct and he's got PTSD from his childhood, maybe he thought he just wasn't dealing with his trauma properly. You could see how all of that would be, where you don't realize that you have something, but yeah
They want him to be a villain. They're trying to mold him into the likeness of someone like Emily, literally by the names they give him and everything. And there is zero supporting evidence to any of that, other than other people's preconceived notions and bias based on.
Is that true? No. Could this be true? He did say, where is Nikki? There is Nikki. He did say, where was the retired thing? I'm only 25 and technically already retired. So what I would read from that is that he's getting enough funding that he can live on. Like I said, an absolutely amazing system for people who need it. But is this the person that needs it? Are we really definitively saying, no, we're not saying that he can't go work because of his conditions, because he says himself, I can still find a job somewhere if I wanted. So that's saying I'm not finding a job because I don't want to. This is yucky. I hate this. Like, even if you put aside the fact that this is misappropriated funding, unless there's something, like I say, he's not telling us. Maybe we're wrong, maybe we're missing information. But like, putting that aside, is this not bad for him? Like, this is not requiring him to better himself in any way, right? He gets to just exist in a puddle with Roz. I hate it. Congratulations, QLR, for throwing your boyfriend to the wolves. And thank you. I think the way they are presenting it online is what makes this clucking awful, rather than the actual semantics of disabled veteran versus veteran with a disability. I agree. Hey, I did not say puddle of Roz. I said in a puddle with Roz. But, either way, it works. Yeah, I don't know.
Another couple on the internet. It's massive delusion. And I'm sick of it because...
she's bitching about them being compared with Amber and Emily. Look, I don't know if people are doing that or if they've just concocted that people are doing that. I called him Remily not because I think he's like Emily, but because it was also another love interest of one of the girls with a fake name, and it was funny. It's not saying that he is her. Oh, I don't even care.
It's like, if you're gonna hate on me, fine, but he didn't fucking do anything besides be in a relationship with me.
Literally all I did. And, all the information that has been found of me, it just proves, like, my integrity.
And what you've said about yourself publicly so far.
Exactly.
Integrity. Let me see. Joined not because I wanted to serve, but because it was an escape. Used it to get all of my benefits. Bragging about being retired. Could get a job, don't wanna. Integrity. I don't know. Maybe it's the dyslexia.
Yeah.
It's consistent.
Exactly.
So people aren't going to find anything.
So now you're going from bullying a disabled fat person to a disabled veteran It's frustrating, man. When we first
I gotcha, Nikki. Let's exploit our technical terminology to do a trauma dump podcast and talk about ourselves and make money, whether it's for good or bad reasons. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. None of it's good. None of it's good. Like I say, there's gonna be some stupid stuff coming out of his mouth in the coming months. People haven't criticized Emily based on her non-existent service to the military. No, but it's not exactly better though, is it? Oh, that's interesting. Okay, so going to war possibly as an escape, but having moral OCD. So those two things do conflict. Okay, so here's what I will say, because I agree. I agree those two things do not go together. One, the OCD could have spawned after. Two, the need to escape could have been so bad and he felt like he didn't have any other route that it overrode the OCD. Also possible. Without more context, I could not say.
Found out about the second account, I kind of freaked out because I knew how much he didn't want all that business out there. And especially back then. Exactly. So when it was recovered like that, like it was a shock to the system. And again, not because there was anything to hide, but because it's just another invasion of privacy. Another boundary being crossed. It's another psychological attack.
Psychological attack. Now, there are things that I would class as psychological attacks in this world. Those two words together, I think, are very potent. But having some shit leaked off of a public website that I assume was caught by the Wayback Machine, like this is not even hardcore hacking stuff, you know, this is stuff that your everyday person could have found. Psychological attack. This is why we can't take her seriously. When everything is ramped up to the most serious and severe degree possible, it means that nothing is at the most severe or serious degree possible. You can't use those words for that context and be taken seriously. That is not an okay use of those words. You being on the internet for a long time, having been the victim of this kind of thing and knowing exactly how it happens, why didn't you protect him? Exactly my sentiments, Bella. Why? Because she just wanted everyone to see that a man thought she was sexy. Really, this is what it boils down to. This is it. So he has a moral code but says nothing about how Roz speaks to her brother. I don't know. He might behind the camera. He might not say it on camera, but yeah. Another discrepancy. She's really pulled him into her delusions. Yeah. Yep, they're bonded. This is a trauma bond at this point, I believe. And I do want to have a certain amount of empathy for that. But it's going to be hard while he's carrying on like this. It really is. I think the important thing that we all do is keep the potential in mind. And should he want to improve and make a change down the track, well, I will be there ready to let him do that. But the more he gets into this, like this kind of thing, put it this way, this kind of thing, I think to get out of this unscathed probably needs a professional involved, you know, like a PR consultant. This is getting bad. Yeah, as Charlie said, I kind of felt bad for him. It's getting harder. Yeah, you can see the conflict in me though, right? I'm I'm so heavily conflicted on it. It'll take me a little while to work out exactly where I fall and why, because this is still all quite new. It's only happened in the last couple of days, and it's adding a layer of complexity that I wasn't quite ready for with him. And yeah, I just yeah. Yeah, you are an egg. You are peeking out of your egg. All of you who are members will hatch. Yeah. Yeah, his moral OCD would be based on his own morals, which might be skewed from what we think. That's right. And also keeping in mind that OCD is not logical. It's really not. Things don't make sense in a way that you might apply to something else. So when he's talking about moral, he may, for example, talk about the religious side where it's involving prayer, right? Which doesn't necessarily mean what we would consider as morally right, in a sense. It's OCD is never going to make sense to somebody on the outside looking into the logic that tries to happen. Because why would switching a light switch on and off exactly 7 times prevent a fire from starting in the house? Has to be 7, can't be 8, can't be 6, because then a fire will start, right? So it's not it's just not that simple to go, oh, but if this then that. But it is worth highlighting the inconsistencies too, though, because at least informs us of his thought processes. You think he lied about it? Roz style self-determined. I had a feeling about that, Aloe. I would like to think, because there's a therapist involved, that there was an actual, because there's a process to being diagnosed with OCD that has to be done by a therapist, and it's like usually some sort of standardized checklist and based on conversations and things like that. The fact that he went straight to moral OCD made me feel weird about it, because generally speaking, that shouldn't be a go-to for a therapist, because like I said, the DSM-5 does not acknowledge these. It would just be OCD. If he said, I have OCD and tend to manifest like this, or I don't know. Sus.
It's just disgusting how normalized it is, and I'm never going to stop calling it out for what it is. He eventually came up with the idea about like telling his story, and I was just kind of like, that's perfect. Like, if you're willing to do that, then like we're just going to take ownership of it. Like, it's just, we're going to take back the power. Yeah. Like, you don't get to make us feel powerless. You don't get to make us feel helpless. You don't get to have that. You don't get to. You don't get to. I'm sorry, I cut you off, baby. What were you going to say?
So, I edited several of them out, but that kind of, oh, I'm so sorry, I interrupted you. What were you saying? That actually happened 3 or 4 times in this section of the live. And I do think that that's highlighting that he discussed this with her. So further proving my theory that some sort of argument or discussion had happened, because she was really pointed in making sure that she did not cut him off. And a few times she caught herself after she had cut him off and then apologized and did the decent thing and asked him what he was saying. So, yeah.
I know, I was just supporting you. I'm sorry that these people were so miserable that they feel the need to do that.
I'm done. Yeah, I'm done. Sorry. I'll let you go, baby. Sorry.
We both understand the risk. Like, we both understand, like, the consequences of, like, this kind of information. But at this point, if, like...
They already know it. In fact, they already know more than what we're saying. You know? Because they've already done the invasion of privacy. They've already dug up shit. What we're doing is showing a light to the things that I think will help.
I could have edited that one out, Nikki. It kind of echoed what I was feeling.
Help the people that support us. I don't know, feel more connected to our stories, our experiences in a way. And also give Lee an opportunity to show a lot of the things that have changed in his growth just in the past 8 months, year to 2 years. Because like before we met, he was doing a lot of growth, and he, came out and
I thought it was just since you. Yeah, public information by definition is not private. No, just because you choose to delete it does not make it private. That's not how the internet works. And these people are young enough that the internet has been around for the majority of their life, if not all of their life. And there's no reason to not understand how that works.
was on like he's been on this like soul searching thing for a couple years now. Again, like I said, Kitty, the people that I don't want to know are the ones that know the most. So we're taking our power back. And that's really that on
we're
that.
We're taking our power back, and also like I'm tired of fighting.
Yeah, that's something you've said a lot.
Yeah, I'm tired of fighting.
Yeah. The next month of my life is going to be really insane, and I can't talk about 90% of it.
Then don't talk about it at all.
So there's that. So I'm gonna be kind of.
Do we still think it's a show? I've seen a few theories floating around. I don't really have an opinion on what I think is happening, but I'd be interested to hear what you think is happening. I could see a show being a thing, because she'd need to keep that quiet, wouldn't she? She thinks she's so important to us, and he's got to be a bit narcissistic if he thinks so too. Yeah. Brother, if you're tired of fighting, you wouldn't have yoked yourself to Rosie. Nice use of the word yoked. Yes. I'm interested too, because he doesn't really define what he's tired of fighting. I wish he would finish that thought process, because it would be a lot more insightful. Because like, what is it? Is it fighting the trolls? Is it fighting his trauma? Is it fighting, trying to be someone that he's not? There's so many scenarios that it could be. Yeah, you remember taking computer class in elementary school, and you're 35. Oh, okay. I definitely took computer class in year 7, and that would have been 1997. It's probably nothing if history taught you anything. Hello, Edgar Allan Crow. I don't know, but he kind of reminds you of every 18 to 20 something year old that knows everything and is the smartest person in every room and has it all figured out. Well, to be fair, we do all hit our peak intelligence at 16. It's all downhill from there, but 18's not really that far from 16, so you're still pretty peak.
Probably spotty on the internet in December, at certain points on the internet, but I'll be coming up whenever I can. You know what? Whatever. This is real janky. All right, guys. My knee hurts. Everything hurts. I'm getting cranky. I need to readjust.
So never mind that he said he wanted to go like 15 minutes ago.
Lee wants to go. We've had quite the conversation. I've had as much fun as I think I possibly can in this amount of pain. But we're here.
Oh, she did the Amber laugh. Oh, I can't think where I did it now. Amber has this thing when she thinks she's like fully slayed, and she drops a comment and then goes but no like emotion on her face. Be like, what a baby. Thank you so much. Girl World, I have the most amazing news. I wish I could share it. I wish I could share it, but I can't. I just wish you knew. If only I could tell you all how amazing my news is. Heart, sorry. You are delightful. Thank you so much, Be Like Water Baby. I appreciate you. Are you baiting me to ask you what is your news? Oh, no. Okay, here's what we need to do. We all need to secretly delve into Be Like Water Baby's past and start snooping because they've baited us to. I'm kidding. Yeah, it's a self-satisfied haughty chuckle, but it's creepy because there's no like joy on the face. It's just kind of a and then with a straight face. It makes me very uncomfortable.
Thank you for hanging out with me and my lovely, lovely, lovely man here. You are the best. Thank you for the haters and everybody in between who lurks with me directly. Still appreciate you. Anyway, what were you gonna say, baby? I cut you off again. I'm sorry.
Oh, no, I was just going to say, thank you guys for being here and for showing Rosie all your love and support. And yeah, I hope y'all have a good day or night wherever y'all are, and stay true.
Bye, guys.
Okay. You read on Water Baby's deleted Reddit post that they had really good news worth sharing. Yeah. So absolutely triggering nonsense of a stream. I felt it was important to get that dynamic out there. It's telling. And I think we're officially in a new phase of this, whatever this is. Yeah, it was something. It was something. Now, I had promised the poop stream, which is now getting a bit old. Oh, that's a sentence, isn't it? I have it edited, so if you still want to watch it, I mean, it's funny. Otherwise, we can move on to more recent ridiculous things that she's doing, because we are not without choice. The title was like Too Enormous for Life, but not that just equally. Yeah. Hello, Mac Attack. Good morning. We're about to finish up. Poop stream. No fresh poop. No, only old stale poop. It was something. I went back and listened to it, and there are some distinct, I cannot believe that she's just standing in her bathroom drying. No. Okay, if you want the poop stream, we can still do the poop stream. We can. I do have, next time that we feel like we need a break from Roz, which, to be perfectly honest with you, I feel like it's coming. Darkwick has very kindly been collecting up a whole bunch of unhinged, estranged parents stuff. And I know that this is a lot of us have this in common. So I think it would be interesting as well, just for a palate cleanser, maybe after the poop stream. Oh, some of the sentences I wind up saying on this channel. My goodness. Oh, really? You're going into this blind, you have no clue what the poop stream is. Riveting. Oh, Marianne. Be on the edge of your seat. I heard Air Escaping 2, Nikki. Can confirm. I went back and ramped up the volume and checked to see if, Remily was breathing out of his mouth or something at the time. No. There was something. I don't know why this is so entertaining, but it is. You don't know if you can watch the estranged parent content makes your blood boil? Totally up to you. I would totally respect that if you wanted to dip out of those, but guaranteed I will be cranky, so maybe that will be cathartic for you. All right, everyone, thank you so much for coming in. Thank you to all of my mods who came in and modded tonight too. I appreciate you. This was a heavy one. Please look after your mental health if any of this triggered you as well. There was some heavy content. But yes, thank you so much to all of the gifted memberships and super chats as well. I appreciate you all so much. And a big thank you to my lurkers and all of the replay nuggets. I hope you have a great time zone. But for now, that is all the clucks I have left to give. Stay golden, my little nuggets, and I'll catch you next time.